Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League Season 1 of the 2021-22 year. We are out on the Two Bridges loop. This is an interesting course and a new addition to the world of Zwift recently out on Watopia. It's essentially the reverse Watopia original course without the second half of the climb out there. So just a kind of a punch in the face and a lot of sprints over and over again after the Essies is what it is. I got Dave next to me, obviously, and actually it says that he's Nathan Guerra, but he's actually definitely Dave Towle. We'll get that fixed for everybody. But boys are out on course, it looks like. Women are be taking off here at 15 after. We'll get some replays of the first sprints that come on through. But you commentated on this yesterday, and it looked like a hold it together race on the men's side of things with a large run sprint at the end.
Yeah, really two different races when you look at the men and the women as far as how things played out and tactics. The men were not that aggressive. There were individual riders that went out and attacked to pick up the bonus points, and there's a lot of them. That's certainly one of the factors here. But generally pretty conservative until there was a frenetic run-in. These sprints are fast. They both kind of have a downhill run into them, not the sprint arch where we'll see a lot of points distributed, and then also at the finish line. Now, the women's race, though, Nathan, as we were talking about off air, that was fun to watch. Super aggressive. Kristen Kolchinsky and Julia Shalau really showed us how to make a race, and they came away with a lot of points for their efforts. Maybe not quite enough, and certainly it's nice to see Jackie Godby, the American, who's just a prolific winner in esports. What a talent she is. So in that race, it was much more a war of attrition as we expected to see with the men. But this course has a ton of potential for great racing. I think that's a good way to put it. How the racers want to animate things out there, and a team with a plan like Next in the men's race, Nathan, wow. But Canyon's not backing down, and I think you'd agree with me that they're a great time trial team, and Next doesn't really have that experience. So I think maybe that might be one chink in the armor. So this is going to be a fun season as we kind of move through the middle point premiere. And same thing here with the community. This group should already be out on course, I'm going to imagine. It's not that long of a day, a little over 50 minutes of racing. Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah, about that. Amongst them, I think the women are right up against the hour, and the men will be going right under 50 or just over 50 minutes, depending on how they want to race the course for sure.
Exactly.
They calm down a little bit. The replay here from what we just had go down with the men. The first time through, BL13, be on the watch out for them as they're trying to make their way through the ranks here in this specific standings right now. But Evo off the front with Hicks early on, unable to hold on. It's going to be the JR team coming through with a solid kick, 14 watts per kilogram, super well timed through the first sprint. Daz Carter, I think, took third there. Wasn't able to nip it at the line, I don't believe. As we do roll this back through, perhaps this first sprint just held on to by Vanderswam. And I think Daz Carter took third there, followed up by Ashton from Skylab and then Bergvik. Now, Skylab, definitely the dominating force. We'll see if they continue to do so, though, because this day is definitely a day where you can grab a lot of sprints, Dave, when it comes to the points. So it kind of changes things up a little bit when it comes to, what, like earlier this morning, Rave were dominating on the women's side of things and against Arrow. And Arrow have been the dominating force recently. It's because they showed up with some extra sprinting prowess actually today. So we'll see if that's something similar we see here today as BL13 continue to go on the attack, it looks like.
It seems like getting out in front of this one out here on this Two Bridges course is the best game plan. As you said, Nathan, so many points. And the way that they stack up, if you can get a couple riders participating in these point sprints out here, and again, they come up so frequently. Each lap is 7.3K each, and they really burn them in. The fastest lap time that we had seen, and we're taking
So
wow, now
close
that's
there.
how you do it.
That was a teammate with a teammate. That was really well.
That's double dipping.
But the way they got at it there too. I mean, check this out. How he goes off the front. This is going to be MX Endurance here off the front. Elding from BL13 starts ramping it up. Daz Carter's there as well. It looks like on the wheel is going to be Johnson from Skylab trying to come through. Does BL13 hold on to all of them?
Looks
they
like
do.
They got the top
1, 2,
spot.
3.
Right.
Wow. And speaking of trying to make
Mark
their
Eldon.
moves here, and where's Skylab? You see all the Skylab jerseys, they're way behind in the top 10, maybe.
Okay, so that's just for anybody joining us. We've just seen the first 2 of 6 sprints that will happen out there. So that was a replay followed up by the exact same sprint line as they came back through again. Now we're back with live action here. That's going to be, so that yellow jersey there has been the featured team. Daniel Mundell, Daryl Carter, Jeremy Lithgow, Mark Elding, and Matthew Spooner, Elding, Spooner, and Philippe Bichette, all making up the squad that certainly looks like they've got Premier League potential to me.
Yeah, Skylab at 78 points in the current standings, but BL13 Bullets letting us know that they are here to try and battle against that. They're currently sitting at that 76 points. So this is, across some of the categories and divisions, we don't have very tight racing, but this category, definitely some tight racing here with only a 2-point difference, a couple of races to go. All of that can change, but, they could end up in a tie situation, actually, if they go 1-2-1-2, and the Bullets end up winning these next 3 races. They could end up actually winning the overall with this race included there. So we'll see. Wes Wolfpack there, 73, not really in the conversation, I don't think, for a first place, maybe a second place if Bullets falter a little bit later season. Just Racing there as well at 67, battling for that maybe third place, but really for fourth against Cryogen Col de la Loze. And do you know that climb there, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, as they're well known for, another one of the feature climbs in Europe for sure. So Col de la Loze is, we look back at. Yeah. So taking a look at, I completely agree, by the way, Nathan. This is a super competitive group, and it might not be massive as far as the size of the peloton, but it's a spirited race. And it really, at this point in the season, it's looking like these 3 teams, especially with the fact that with 9 teams being competitive out here, there's not a massive spread in points. So for an example, if Skylab had a just absolutely dog's breakfast of a team time trial in the Premier League, they would drop down significantly. But here, they still, the worst you can lose is 9 points, which means that they're pretty safely in the top 3. But again, there's no reason to project so far out. We've got a great race here today, Nathan, that's for sure. And I think that Skylab has definitely a statement to make. If they're the best team in this division, well, today's a day that BL13 and World Elite Zwifters Wolfpack, they've come to race, no doubt about it. So let's make them earn it. That's exactly what we're going to do. That's what bike racing is all about. No question, Nathan. I love what we're going to have in front of us here as they make their way through almost 43 kilometers of racing today. 6 laps out here on this Two Bridges circuit. It's almost 500 meters of climbing. We're just about, let's say, a third of the way in.
Looking at the jerseys, just so everybody knows, the jerseys next to the names there do represent the jerseys that the teams will be using in-game as well. A great new feature to this season where there's been some new requirements set up where teams, when they do register over at WTRL.racing for the season, they need to pick an in-game jersey to go along with their team, and everybody jumps in to the game with that jersey on. Much easier to identify when we do have the graphics up on screen. So Skylab,
Yeah.
you can see, going to be in the white there. BL13 in the Bicycling Magazine kit. WEZ Wolfpack, we do have them selected on screen right now. Actually, no, we have Cryogen selected on screen, excuse me. But you can see the Wolfpack there in the red and black hanging around. But Cryogen here with Anderson.
You're
right
making
now.
me feel bad. I
Why is that?
always thought that was Bontrager for some reason. That B jersey,
BL13,
the BL13.
the
I
Bicycling
see
Magazine.
what I mean. Yeah.
It
Makes
does
a
look
lot
like
more
the
sense.
Bontrager B, but the Bontrager
A
B has the
little.
red, the
Yeah.
red in the circle. Yeah.
Right. Bontrager is a legendary mountain bike brand that was purchased by Trek, and I think they use it as a component
Yep.
name holder.
100%.
Right.
It's their component for sure. Yeah.
Keith Bontrager, though, is one of the institutions in American mountain biking. As we certainly have plenty of mountain bikers who jump in with us in Zwift racing. It's a really great mix between specialists, folks that just race on Zwift, the mountain bikers that come and get the intensity, road racers looking to mix it up a little bit, get some good racing in every now and then. It's certainly it's always a blast at this time of year when we start welcoming everyone back. BL13. Nathan, they and Skylab both certainly have a claim to premier status, I would say. I think both of these teams are just ready to make that leap.
Yeah, BL13. The only thing I would say is I think they're the sprinters types. They're gonna struggle when it comes to the pure FTP. I think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're right. They need one. They need to sign one Mateus. Well, actually, not a Mateus de Roos because he's just the best sprinter out there now, right? But they need. You're right. One more piece to this puzzle, but it's out there. Just gotta keep looking.
I think now that they're making their presence known, and then also qualifying too. Here, taking a quick look here at the course profile for those who are unfamiliar with it. Just a quick little 6.5K.
Yeah, they burn it. And I would take Mateus de Roos. I take that back in any situation. He's one of the big stars in the Premier League right now. And
well, I mean, kind of out of nowhere too. Like, his showing up on the scene was he was definitely a discovery. I'll say that. It's not like one of these situations where, I mean, what comes to mind immediately is like James Phillips or Lionel Villasin or some of the names that have been around for a while, and now we've got new names coming up, especially with World Championships, and that's going to be a conversation. Now, Kate and I were having this morning. That was a lot of fun to think about and to bring to the table while we watch these racers out here. Is to remember that these racers, what they're competing for right now, is the Zwift Racing League Season 1, as well as form, fitness, getting an idea of where people are at heading into qualifiers, and then looking towards Season 2 and World Championships around the same time. Right. So we've got this kind of peaking, and a lot of times in a season you'll have a double peak. And the way that this is played out, I'm not sure if Zwift did this on purpose, but like there's a reality that I peak once early on for my season, and I think that a lot of road racers do this as well, right around that classics time. What was the traditional classics time before we had pandemic, and then right around spring, and then boom, go into summer and peak again around tour time, July and those kinds of things. And we kind of have a similar situation where we're going to have this double peak qualifiers to ZRL Season 1, and then bam, we hit February, and we've got ZRL Season 2 and the World Championships. So it's really cool to see here that we are finding these needles in the haystack about who is going to be representing what countries and making names for themselves. We have Martin here out of Germany. Martin's out of Germany with Cryogen, making a move, and this is a team who needs points right now, Dave.
Yeah, Robert out of Germany. Robert Mertens here, looking extremely strong. So he's going to gather 10 points and throw them right into the kitty for the Cryogen team. Let's see here. There's the Arch. That was very close behind him, though, and it's going to be Matthias Chemnitz again. So Chemnitz, another German up here, and it looks like things are starting to just shatter out here, Nathan. Let's see what we've got now. We're going to be picking up the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, after the sprint, which is interesting to me that it gets away from the pack so much. Look at this. They
Yeah.
have completely blown things apart now at this point. 2 seconds back to Bailey and Bergrich here. Let's go here from BL13 off the back. Huge chase group. Actually, this is just completely splintered. Interesting enough. I was not expecting this. We've only got a little under 30 riders at this point left in this lead pack. Now, with this kind of a situation, with this small of a group, this opens up the door for a lot more tactics, a lot more pressing the pace. You're not quite as concerned about all of the different avatars and bodies that can kind of close those gaps, fill in where people were unable to grab a wheel, maybe get some more avalanching. This opens things up where you can really start to maybe think about a breakaway situation. Look at Crouchen fighting back.
Yeah, fantastic point, Nathan. In the men's race yesterday in Premier, the group was always so big that any 1 or 2 rider group that went off the front was just, there was no hope. And this is getting to that point now. We're just passing that threshold where the group is small enough. The legs are going to be heavy enough because they've just been wailing away out here in our Europe, Middle East, and Africa Division 1As. And so a couple Cryogen riders on a screen here fighting back now as Cryogen is looking to try to make a statement. We've talked a lot about Skylab and BL13. These two need to get up there to get back into the points. Let's see if they can relay each other right now, Nathan, and get back into the mix.
Reminds me of their teammate yesterday, Natalie Stevenson, trying to claw her way back in the women's race.
Legend.
Actually, yeah, absolutely, and pulled it off.
These guys make it. I have a feeling they just need a break here. They need that group to back off a little bit. Nathan, we've seen this before. I mean, it's excruciating to watch.
I'm not sure that the front group is very interested in them coming back. Actually, they just
don't
looks
look like they're freaking out either. You know what I mean?
Okay, I went to the front to see what their watts per kilogram were, and it's only 3.8 here coming from Spooner. So I thought perhaps there was somebody pressing the pace, but nobody really is. Arts is now though, so it does look like 1 or 2 of the. I think it's Wes.
You're going to find out what team,
and this is why.
Well, you're going to find out what team doesn't like you very quickly,
and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense here because Wes Wolfpack.
It's not personal.
They don't want Cryogen coming. 73,
well, if you're
66.
Guys,
there it is.
Let me tell you something you learned very early in road racing is that if you ever can close the door and put a lock on it at the back for get a guy gone, leave him out there. Never let him back in. Last thing you want to do is allow a rider to re-enter the race, and that's exactly what they're trying to do now, Nathan. So see how the watts go up here? It gets harder and harder now because they don't have the benefit of that draft, and they've already been working harder at a rate of 15-20% than the guys sitting in that peloton, and it isn't getting better is the problem.
Yeah, and you can see 7 seconds now at this point. The orange numbers are going to pop. These boys are only going to be holding threshold level, and it's going to just start rolling away from them. Let's head back to the front of the race here as we do have an attack.
Welcome to my nightmare. That was my entire racing career, Nathan. Was basically
just off the back, watching people going
off
uphill.
The back. Yes, watching the attacks out of the front of the group as you're trying to get back in. And here we go. This is going to be big. We got a moment for you right now, folks. As one of the things I love is Roy Arts here. This guy is a big dude. He's 84 kilo. He's making watts that would dim the power grid, and he's got a rider coming up to join him as it looks like the Dane Larson is interested in linking up.
Yeah, the cycling power here looking to come across. If you can do so, 2 off the front with only 2 seconds, though, it's not going to be too much of a threat. They were,
we were with them in camp. So we had them at WTRL's Team Time Trial on Thursday. A couple of their riders were in their performance center.
That's right.
And they're going to be better than that 9th place right now. I don't know what's going on there, but Nathan, that would be a stock that you should buy. It's undervalued because that's a good team, actually. So I don't know if they're just getting it together. I don't know what the process is for them.
They're definitely a new team. They're definitely a new team. So I have a feeling that's exactly what's going on here. Now look at the front here. Art still trying to hold on to a little bit of something, but at 46 kilometers per hour, they're going to come flying by. He really needs to ramp this up quick because he can find himself off the back. That's one of the dangerous things about those kind of attacks here is you can really slow down without the momentum of the group. Skylab, look at them sitting in, playing smart. They're really playing the defensive. This is kind of like in a tour situation. You got the yellow jersey.
Very canyony. Yeah.
You can just sit and let follow moves. Yes, you have to defend if something goes off the front, but you can see they're in a defensive mode, not an attacking mode right now.
Agreed. And I would not fault them for that. I think that they realized that with the amount of points at the finish, so we talk about fastest through segments in the community, which is extremely cool. No points here. That's the finish line as they come through. But that will be obviously 50 points waiting for the winner, 40 for second, 35 for third. It starts to stack up a lot closer as you get down, Nathan, to the last 20. Scoring at 30 deep between 10th and 30th, it's only 1 point difference per place, right? So it's not that significant as it is what getting up onto the podium.
Points just coming through here, as you can see. Is that going to be
as we were saying?
Just Racing. Wow, 59 carrying the team today with that orange jersey. Is going to be the rider that you were speaking about a lot. There's Chemitz there, so. Solid effort. Yeah. Ashton coming through with 27 so far. That fastest through segment, 35 points. Well worth the effort. And Carter only on 22 today. That's not like Carter. We'll see if you can kind of ramp things up as we go through here as we're 3 laps in, 3 to go. Halfway through this race. If we look at here, though, BL13 very well represented on the jersey. So you can see now the question is whether or not those minor placings that we've seen from them there, from Spooner, as well as from Mundell, are going to be worth it. Well, not worth it. If they're going to be able to make up what we were seeing from Chemnitz as well as Skylab's, not really that well represented though, Dave. They're not. No, and this is similar to what we saw this morning with Arrow and Rave, where Rave, because of their sprinting today, were able to really put Arrow on the back foot, and I think we have a similar situation.
So I'm wondering, Nathan, if we go back and look at those points, right, you need a little bit of help if you're trying to overhaul Skylab here. And I'm wondering if the cycling power team, if they are going to all of a sudden start jumping up into one of the best teams out here. Now, what jersey are they wearing? Because this is going to be interesting.
I think they're in the Radavast. I thought it was Radavast when I saw them go by here. I'll see if I can find them out on course.
Let me just start. Let's start working through it. Cryogen is obviously the white and blue, the 2 shades of blue. The yellow jersey there with the B on it, that is, we were just talking about BL13. Now, Skylab, let's see, where's the Skylab? Right there. It's a white jersey, isn't it there?
Yeah, Skylab is going to be in the white jersey. They actually have the Gear Patrol, right in front of us there.
And the black jersey here, right in the middle of our screen on the pink concept bike. What team is that? Is that Cycling Power? Is that Larson?
That's going to be, Radavast. That's the old school Radavast kit. That,
great. I'm not familiar with that kit.
One of the first kits in game, actually. I think it was one of the
than
second or third releases when it comes to the kits that got opened up in game as we head into this next 4 sprint on the day. We're
going to hear. So they only had. So they're not as impactful as I thought they might be. But
there's only one that have made that front group. It looks like.
Yeah. So, but again, we're watching how they're trending, and it's going to be fun. That's for sure. This is going to be the Wolf Pack. I always love that name. There's no doubt about it. And in this case, that's going to be referring to Mr. Balch.
Watch Daz Carter and his timing on on this sprint, because I think he's really got it down. This is a tactic I'd be watching out for.
Again, Nathan,
and look at how it's completely blown apart. Again, the number of riders completely changing how this sprint works out. They're starting to break things apart again as they come through the Essies. A couple of more riders falling off every single lap. Do not slow it down. Evo now off the back here. Vandershelm is there as well. As you can see, Larson struggling. Balk, who just took it down, who was trying to take it down early, unable to do so. And it looks like Carter, though, now at the back, and now we're down to 23 riders. So again, 3 or 4 more falling off. Look at Evo crawling their way back. 2 are going to fall off, it looks like. Maybe Larson can get back here from Cycling Power here. A little bit of a kick. The only rider I think that's going to not make this is going to be Nagel, actually, from that Just Racing team out of Germany.
Wow. It shows you, though, then they hit hard, and we're looking at, so he does get back. Good job for the Cycling Power rider there, able to rejoin. So small group, and we've still, I mean, we're not, well, we still got, I'm going to say 15K, make it more like 18K of racing here. So we're not even close to the finale yet.
Nope, not even close. Now, the women's racing, they are lined up, as everybody, that if you are hanging out waiting for the women's central Div 1, 12 minutes to the start in the lower left-hand corner, as you can see, as they are getting warmed up in the pens. We on the watch out for this that's coming up here. NZ Bro, we've got Roka Korba with the reality of the world champions team out there. So this is going to be a solid race. I think that they're going to open things up again. They've made it really exciting racing. To be honest, I mean, the women's racing has been absolutely awesome in the European time zone here. Some of the best battles, having the reality of Ashley Moomin Pass was showing up with that new community team. And then across the later category in the West, that has been also as good, if not better, because of the quality talent that's come out of the community as well there. So last week we saw some of the best racing ever actually on Casse Pats there, with some last minute attacks and trying to hold on right to the line. So I think we're going to see something similar in the women's side of things for Europe here in just a few minutes. So if you're looking for the women's racing, just about a little over 12 minutes to go to the start of theirs as we finish up the men's Middle East here. Let's take a look and see if those points have been updated for us. Not quite yet. 10 minutes still leading things out.
There's a better story on Zwift than Aeonian. I don't know of it, to tell you the truth, what's happened with that team and how phenomenal they are in the Premier League. But that's not the real story, is it? It's the foundation as they built that pyramid from the ground up. And so let's take a look at the points that we've got out here again, reviewing where we're at coming into the middle part of the ZRL 2021-22 season 1. And Skylab with 78 points. That's not a comfortable advantage, Nathan, over BL13 Bullets, especially the Bullets could, the way things are going right now, it's easy to imagine them pulling within 1 point after today's race.
Yeah, the way that they're taking on these sprints, they've shown up over and over again on that downhill section. One thing I want to say to that is that the Bullets are probably a more experienced, the more experienced team when it comes to sprinty crit type racing like this. And isn't that funny to say, Dave? Like, to think that there's teams that have specialties in this. Within the genre of racing here, there's teams that have specialties as well. And I think BL13, especially having Daz Carter on there, you know, he is one of these super, super committed, live streaming, just racing Zwift. It's kind of become his go-to sport overall year round. And I think having him on there brings an extra tactical aspect to BL13, where I have a feeling that that's part of the reason why we're seeing them kind of jump up here on this course, where it takes a little bit more finessing of those sprints to grab all the points.
I think when you speak about athletes that compete year-round, a lot of them are our parents, right? That just don't have the ability to travel and go to races. So Zwift racing esports become their thing, for sure. Kevin Bouchard Hall comes to mind as someone who, you know, he's racing all year long. He's not racing too much. He races when it's right for him, but it doesn't matter the month because he's always going to be home with his kids. And plenty of our racers out here are I'd say more are parents than aren't parents when you look at our community racing. So this is, again, that group that have whittled this down. It's going to be hard to get rid of any more riders at this point. If you sustain the barrage through this first 2/3 of the race, Nathan, you should be in for the thick of it, the finish.
2 laps to go out here today And as you can see, it is a very whittled down pack. Looking back through, nobody's been dropped off over the top of that next climb. It looks like in my opinion, they've kind of calmed down at this point after they've figured out the who's who situation with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, makes sense.
They're going to start thinking about breakaways. You're going to start thinking about, okay, there's only 2 more sprint points. What are we going to do about this? You've got 2 more opportunities to make an impact for the team when it comes to sprinting. And you could get first across the line still if you get into a breakaway situation. Skylab's got the numbers here. They're kind of playing
at this point
what we saw from Heino, but it's wood time to chop. Okay. And Fitzpatrick almost letting us know publicly that Skylab is here to play, actually.
Well, I think if you didn't assume that, you haven't been paying attention all season, right? Because it is definitely business time. And we're seeing that notification. Now, Noah Balch, the American on the Wolfpack, has certainly been one of the active riders. Mateus also has been someone that you absolutely, I'm expecting Mateus Chemnitz to make another attack here for the JR team. It's just got real, no doubt about it. Inside of 2 laps to go out here. It's a fantastic circuit to race on.
Now, as we look at the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that going to have 6 riders? Is that right? Have all of Skylab made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders from Skylab? They've got the numbers, and Fitzpatrick right on cue as they hit the Essies, heads right to the front. BL13 are going to be the riders that are going to have to cover this because I'm not sure that any of the other teams have a whole lot of interest in trying to bring this back. And here we go. Wolfpack now on the front. Noah, though, 6.5 watts per kilogram. And are the teams going to work together or are they going to just infight? No, Noah's going to say, I got to get a gap here, 7 meters, 7 watts per kilogram here. Anderson from Cryogen trying to cover it, as you can see. Fitzpatrick continuing on. And the moment that the catch here is going to come close enough to the sprint, we may not see a counter. The counter, though, may be going forward first across the line if it does happen. So that may be a play that somebody could make.
Yeah, my anticipation is at this point in the race, your legs are going to be heavy enough that fastest through segment, that ship has sailed. It's going to be all about the points waiting at the bridge here. As it's definitely animating, no doubt about it. Noah, right on cue, has arrived.
5 seconds.
Taking a look, though.
Continues to go out, really, Dave.
Yeah, I'm still looking at this as a play for points right now, not for the finish of the race with the descent that we've got. That's a pretty big group right behind them.
Yeah, especially with descent into the sprint and with the kind of speed that comes through on that sprint.
I think if you win with an attack on this course, you're doing it in the last lap for sure. So early right now. You're still 13K to go. But I think Fitzpatrick's in pretty good shape here to have a real crack at picking up those 10 points. This is going to be the test right now. Is it really? Let's see what he can do. It is coming down, so it's going to be tough. Noah is rolling right now.
A little bit more, I think, a little bit more power actually into this downhill section. 4 seconds. They're going to come flying on 46 kilometers per hour here. 45 though, maybe. Hold on. I'm not sure it's going to happen though. He's going to need a whole lot more. Well, they are slowing down a little bit.
Noah's got a better shot.
Noah's coming on through.
Noah's got a better shot at it, to tell you the truth.
I think Noah's going to come over the top right now. He needs to, if he hits this sprint right there, it is. And Fitzpatrick though was kind of holding up, and here comes Elding, BL13. They're going to roll him through, and it's not going to happen. Skylab showing up in the back end of the race here. BL13 sneaked a couple there in the middle of it all. Interesting.
Very next right there, waiting like a wolf to the right moment and then hitting them as a group, right? You don't even know what hit you when here comes Skylab. So, boy, I tell you what, Nathan, it's like the Empire Strikes Back.
Fitzpatrick trying to hold on. Not going to happen. BL13, I thought we're going to come on through, but there's Skylab at the back end of the race here, taking down that first across the line. They also get 4th. So BL13 did stick a couple of riders in between, and that's exactly what they need to do.
Definitely limits the damage. That definitely helps stop the bleeding. Yeah. Woo, that's exciting. Wow, we got some great racing today, and they're still waiting to get the bell for 1 lap to go.
Interesting that good. I'm glad to see the Radovas kit still in there, as you were mentoring cycling power, still staying involved and able to compete here at this extremely high level amongst the top Zwifters in the Middle East division
Yeah,
here.
this is
So
not that different than Premier, to tell you the truth. Really aggressive racing. These guys are digging deep out there.
now the question is, are Skylab going to start making some more moves, or are they going to keep on watching here at this point? I mean, the counterattack is really the move coming out of that sprint. In my opinion, the climb that is out here on that reverse climb, it's so short. I mean, it's very punchy, but the kind of time that you can get over the top, if you go once it heads uphill against a pack that's this large, is you really can't open up enough to get away unless it completely shatters the entire group. So really, it's
I
the
guess that's
counter
your
at the
only
cobbles.
hope.
The counter at the
Right.
cobbles, and we saw it this morning. Actually, there was an attack there from Mark O'Brien, who's classic, Australian, continually attacking, always wants to try and get away over the top through the cobbles. And I mean, that's your section because there's enough space between there and the climb to open up. I think he opened up about 5 to 7 seconds and then held on to about the same over the top and almost came all the way to the line, to the finish line. They literally caught him in the last 50 meters. So, that's the kind of situation, whereas waiting for the attack over the top here, maybe you're going to break it apart and drop a couple off, but you're still going to carry a pack most likely with you.
Let's talk quickly, Nathan, about who's going to win this race as an individual out here. So we've talked about the teams, and that's how this format works. It's based on points. It's not a classic road race where you have a start and then a winner at the finish. What we're doing here is collecting points amongst the team. Skylab has been a great example. BL13, another out here today, of being very much a part of these bonus sprints. There's fastest through segments as well, which are somewhat similar, but it's not based on finishing position, but just how it's a mini time trial out here in the middle of these races. And then we've got the finish line points. Now, but ultimately someone wins this race as well. And there's a lot of pride in that, without any doubt. Just let me reference Jackie Godby winning yesterday in the women's race. That was really, really exciting for her. And today, Nathan, how can you look past Skylab and Christopher Ashton? I mean, the guy puts up massive numbers. He's ridden very smart race. He's on a team that's got a high racing IQ. That's the white jersey that you see all over the first third of this race, but not on the front per se. They do have one rider right up there, but you really couldn't be much better positioned, even though BL13 has been collecting. I think if we went back, BL13 has to have the lion's share of points, don't they, right now?
I mean, look at what Chemnitz has done, though. With just racing, he literally is almost doubling Carter's.
That's incredible. He's a one-man team. Yeah,
he has done amazing job so far, keeping them in the race here. BL13 definitely holding on, as you were saying, though, the lion's share of the points out here as they head into one lap to go in just a moment, as onto this downhill, second to last time over the top of that little punch of climb.
Nathan, can you imagine for some riders how much they would love, like the bigger, heavier riders, this finish now? Because just reconnoiter this with us. So you want to be near the front of this group because you're going to want to surf just like, I think that's Matthias Chemnitz right there in the orange jersey moving up. Yes, it is. They're doing exactly what he's doing, staying right near the front, but not so much with your nose in the wind. It stays super fast through here. I mean, they're well over 60K per hour, just settling under that now. Here's where you start to wind up the gear. And this is a great reconnoiter, just a recon of the finish. Noah, right up there. Noah Balch having a great day today.
Yeah, and
here we go.
This is an interesting finish straight, too, because there's not a lot of time with this. Look at how fast they're still doing 53, 54 kilometers per hour. A lot of times in Zwift, that's kind of, it's right around that 50 to 51 is the pace at which an individual by themselves going full gas can kind of hold on to, whereas the pack just rolls that kind of speed off of the hill. So
that's really well put.
Yeah, and
That's
so
really
when
well
you're
put.
watching your speed up there, it's that 48 to 50 kilometers per hour that's really manageable at an A to A plus level to hold on to for any extended period of time. So, the timing that you have to watch out for when it comes to managing when to go with your sprint, when the pack is going to slow down, it's going to be right. Did you see it? They slowed down right around that last corner. That's kind of the moment that you need to be watching for when things are going to open up, because that's when everybody who no longer has that momentum off the hill, it's going to slow right on down.
But also, the smart racer knows there's no reason to make an effort here. Knowing that this is going to stay together, that even if you're sitting in the back of this group, there's no reason to worry right now. I would let Noah do what he's doing for sure. BL13 is not going to overreact to that, but Skylab's going to go. So I would be conservative, I guess is what I'm saying right now. We still have a long way to go. This is a hard lap out here. Patrick's so aggressive. He and Noah have been the two riders that have had the biggest impact, I'd say, as individuals through this last couple of laps.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick really trying to put people on the back foot here.
Well, you know what he's doing,
Skylab's up
and
to.
it's smart. Well, yeah, he's taking pressure off his teammates on Skylab. So he's forcing the others to chase, and his teammates are loving him right now. This is a good move from Patrick. Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry. I'm definitely down with this.
And you do see Wes Wolfpack.
He's not trying to win the race.
BL13.
Well, he is trying to win the race, but he's trying to set up a teammate. And that effort, then, they played a card. Noah Balch has neutralized that group. It's getting tough out there, no doubt. That's why I'm saying, Nathan, don't play your cards too early. See Skylab?
Look at
They're not
Skylab.
worried.
They're all
They're not
on the back here, just following wheels. My question is, are they comfortable?
They still got their phone on the charger, right? I mean, they're still adding. Right now, this is a team that's confident.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is completely on purpose. I'm looking at the heart rates here, and I'm just wondering if
I think it is. I believe it is. But again, I've been wrong before, but I have a feeling that they're just playing coy right now. Letting others burn matches is a big part of racing, is not using your resources when they're not needed. It's too easy to get baited into going to the front and going hard for no reason.
Agreed. The only reason I'm wondering is just looking at the data from the heart rates here at 185 beats per minute. I mean, this is, and being on the back there,
low.
but okay, maybe proving me wrong though. On the front, is this going to be Fitzpatrick again? Though it is. I think he's just the stronger of the Skylab boys today,
forcing them to chase.
On through.
Right. So his teammates sit at the back while he goes and puts every other team under pressure. BL13 again now has closed that down. There's Ollie Peckover coming through. But so what Fitzpatrick is doing is forcing the other teams to do work while his teammates sit on the back of and are just the caboose, comfortably hooked up.
Yeah, the only thing I would say there is I don't know how comfortable they are. That's the only thing I'm wondering. Like looking at their heart rates, are they comfortable or are they struggling? Ollie obviously isn't struggling. He comes through and takes things down.
So they get 10 points. Cryo then takes away the points from, and BL13 doesn't even get the top 5
we'll
because they've been doing so much work chasing Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, great moves here. They're working with the resources that they have.
He had an impact.
Huge impact. My question here, though, looking at Webster at 190
really
beats per minute here right now, is whether or not they're going to have anything to make plays later. If they've waited too long, was it a waiting game? Was there even a reality that they were waiting? Were they just following in defense?
When Christopher Ashton hits the front at 25 meters to go, making 15.5 watts per kilo, that'd definitely be their answer to that. Now, does that happen? I don't have a crystal ball, but I definitely think that they're positioned to do it, and Ashton should be supercharged out here.
Yeah, and Ashton has been waiting, I think, for this moment. I would definitely agree with that.
50 points. 50 points at the line, right? It's so worth it to save him for the finale, especially when BL13's done a good job. I would say that BL13 right now, just based off of a thumbnail sketch, has got to have a points lead coming into the finish.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here. I'm not sure if we
Not by
have
a
them just
ton,
as of
but
yet. Looking through, still that we have it's still from lap 4 here
just
at
kind
this
of
point.
using
So
even that top 10, that tells you a lot, actually, of where the points have been distributed. And just
yeah,
BL13's been probably the most consistent. I mean, you can see that with Daz in second there,
well, actually, that is
because you got
updated
to
here
throw
with 41
Mateus
points.
Chemnitz out as
Ashton at
far as
34. So if he does grab 50, that'll put him at 84 points. We'll see how Chemnitz does across the line.
Chemnitz should. You'd expect him to be top 3 today, wouldn't you?
I mean,
I would.
he's been extremely. You mean holding on to a top 3? I mean, he might win it outright
Yeah, I
with the
think he
way he's been
finds the
riding.
virtual podium. Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know that he can beat Ashton, but I think that he can get up there without any doubt. He's also now just kind of hanging at the back of the group here, smart, not wanting to use any calories that he doesn't need to. I
At
think that's Ashton right
148
next
beats
to
per
him.
minute, I mean, he's got the lowest heart rate amongst everybody at
He's
this
chill.
point, too. Super chill. He's been waiting for this moment, and he could grab 50 points. That'd put him well over 100 and really putting Just Racing on the map here amongst everybody else. One
Oh,
of
this is
these
going to be
situations
fun.
where he just a rider just kind of carries the entire team for the day.
Well, this
I
is
don't
going to
even
be
think he has a
exciting.
teammate. I don't even think he has a teammate up here. No, he's solo
Chemnitz?
for Just Racing. Yeah,
No.
there's
Yeah, he's been
nobody
alone
else.
all day.
Evo has a
Yeah,
ton
yeah.
of people in chat actually going off about them, and so a lot of fans. Always great to see the Evo crowd
So
showing up.
So they must be talking about Dennis van der Salm, right? I mean, he's definitely going to be in the mix, and Marvin van der Salm as well. The van der Salms are a potent tandem out of Holland. Certainly be watching out for them here, and Freddie Hick on Evo as well. This is a big moment. Roy Alex now. Here we go, Nathan.
Here goes Chemnitz goes across here. Svensson, that is a blown apart pack back there. This could hold on. They get 5 seconds. Daz Carter looking to go across here. Daz
Arrows.
now, is he going to be pulling the group is going to be the question, or does he want to go across? And this is split up a little bit. He's not going to give a whole lot of advantage to the pack here, and they're going to have to really throw some energy at this. How much time is going to be the question that they've got, and they've got to work together. I mean, if they want this, it's got to be a punch down the other side. This is exactly what we saw this morning. It's not quite the same gap, though, that we saw from Mark O'Brien. It's only 5 seconds at this point, and they're not together. Chemnitz should have tried to get on this wheel as quickly as he could because they need this speed to really snowball amongst each other. 5 seconds. Nubanetti at the front. They are within sight, and that is the difference. Mark O'Brien was out of sight, actually, this morning, still at this point, just barely. I'm not sure this is going to pay off for him. I'm surprised Chemnitz going across. Now, if he comes over the top, though, if he comes over the top,
he does.
It's gonna be hit and miss here. It's gonna be ebb and flow whether or not they're gonna hold on to this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we got ourselves a bike race here. Let's call it 1K to go. So that is the man who's picked up the most points with our fastest 3 segments and our first across the line, Mateus Chemnitz there in the orange jersey, a real threat. But the gameplay now, have they timed it right back in the chase? I think they did. This is going to go right down to the line. Nathan, Guerra, here we go. We are locked and loaded. Just a few hundred meters to go.
57 kilometers per hour. They're going to come through at 70 plus most likely in just a moment here, but I think they've just barely made it happen. This usually never ends up being the situation, but Chemnitz is just going to hold on, proving us wrong. Made it happen here across the line.
That's amazing.
Oh,
and how about that? Ashton ends up on the podium, but Elding, I believe, taking the group sprint right behind there. Woo! What a finish. That was incredibly exciting. Now, how those points score is going to be real. Let's take another look.
So Chemnitz just holds on. Art's trying to make it happen for Wolfpack. And these are the two teams that really need the points. Apologies on the event notification coming through. We don't want to miss the event, though. Svensson, did he just hang on? There's some points for the BDR team. Think. Nicely done. BL13 end up for 4th with Ashton there in 5th. So
okay. So all 3 of the guys stayed away.
Skylab not too involved in the end, actually.
That's
so
amazing
really,
finish.
really
Boy, does that
interesting
kind of
change-up.
cuts against the grain of what people have been saying after yesterday, right? About how it's impossible to stay away. Well, we just witnessed a man, Mateus, getting it done. That was a memorable race win here today in the ZRL. We're going to jump in with the women now. Same deal. They're out on course for 43 kilometers, 6 laps on the Two Bridges course. Fantastic. Well, that was well raced, what we just witnessed. I see a lot of ride-ons being dropped on our riders here.
We're going to see some back-to-back here when it comes to the little bit of back-to-back sprints in just a moment here when it comes to the racing. The men are about to take off now for the what are we in here? I think it's in Central. Just going to make sure.
South?
EMEA Central. We'll be in with EMEA Central here. Yeah, and then the women here are just out on course. We do have a replay of what happened right before. We'll let them sprint this one out here, and we'll take a look at the first one in just a moment. But again, we'll take a look at the standings, where things are at, get an idea of who's out on course. This is going to be the Zwift Racing League EMEA Central Division Women, Division 1 Women A's. Roca Corba Cycling, 78 points. Now, still within striking distance, SC Sin, they're there. Now, Roca Corba, they've been so dominant when it comes to a few of the riders, but SC, they've been keeping in there in a way to find points where they need to stay in the conversation.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that they're going to come out of this season as a stronger squad with and a cohesive unit as well. Sarah London, Marie Rind, Malin Kagstrom, Louise Rundqvist, Cornelia Engstrom has been exceptional out here. And finally, Asa Vast Berglund. This is a very competent team, living up to what Swedish Swifters are all about. Always competitive, well prepared. Roca Cobra has been one of the great stories of the year, without any doubt. Courtney Webb, certainly a breakthrough rider. She's got, I was going to say World Tour written all over, but in this case, Premier League written all over her.
Here come the punches.
Sure
These have been very close sprints from what I've seen so far today. Off the front, it is going to be Cameron, I think, coming from Bristol Flyers. Just hanging on over Truin, who has been a solid sprinter. She's got the power. I think the timing was just a little bit off there from Truin, from the NZ Bro Aragorn team. They do get a gap a little bit here over the top of their teammate Engstrom as well as Oliver. And I'm not sure that we have Moomin Pasiel out here today. So I think Courtney is going to have to really hold things down for the team. Now, this is going to put a little bit of a chink in the armor as far as the points overall go. And I think on the back end of the season, this race we'll look back at and say this is where SZ as well as NZ Bro really could make their move and try and jump up over the top of Roca Corba today.
Hey, you don't get many opportunities like that, having the world champ not showing up. And I'm sure that obviously she's been very, very active in helping build this team. And she must have been at the Tour de France avec Zwift.
She was.
So that would mean a trip from South Africa up to Paris as well for that awesome presentation.
This is the sprint that we had on the first lap. I just wanted to compare it to the sprint we just saw.
Sure.
So first lap sprint here, and Canyon Dev trying to hold on, but there's Truan. She had a better go at the line
Draper?
this time. Siri Hildonen was in there.
So,
Siri Hildonen was in that sprint. One of the original Canyon squad, the top squad, in there. Great to see Siri. I think she is off the back, so I think she just grabbed some points there for the coalition team quickly, and then ended up falling off the back. So she got her work done for the team, though.
Yeah, very positive force out there. Another, I think, influencer in the community. So this is Tennille Otto that we're looking at.
Siri, actually, look at this. Definitely getting something done. She's got fastest through segment because of that. So,
awesome.
Do your work, get the job done, and now she's off the back, but still leading the points. I mean, that's a huge amount of points on the day.
Yeah, you definitely made a difference for your team today, and that's what this is
Siri.
all about. And you know what? Rather than just hanging on for another lap at the back of the group, she said, "I'm going to impact this thing." Way to go, Siri. So, all right, let's take a look. Oh, I just activated my computer. Um, it's got to be weird when you have a name that becomes part of the computer lexicon, right? Um, so going
Yeah,
You know what I
so
mean?
see,
Like it being
yeah,
named
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Alexa right now
yeah, yeah,
also
yeah,
would be weird. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Siri
so
definitely though one of the old school. She was originally a
they
Vision
named
rider
Siri after her. She
after.
was so cool.
The men
So,
here are just getting into their first sprint actually as they get out on course. Let's go ahead and jump over to them and take a look at their current standings, get an idea of what's going to be playing out with the men as they head over to the
well,
Essies.
while you're doing that, I'm going to ask you what NZ Bro Aragon. What is Aragon? Is that a forest in The Hobbit?
Aragorn. No, Aragorn
Aragorn.
is the Return of the King. He is the
Wizard?
king. No,
King?
he's early on he's known as Strider, and then you find out that he is actually the king.
Look at this
ends up
group.
ends
Who's
up
the
marrying
king in this group,
Arwen. I
Nathan?
mean, we could. There's all kind. I mean, I could tell you all about
Yeah,
it.
no, that's a different podcast. But yeah, your knowledge there, I knew that you would know. This is a massive field that we're looking at as we jump in with the guys in the very early going. They have a sprint coming up right away, though, actually. There it is, right? I believe at the other end of this bridge. I might be wrong. I apologize, but I think this sprint comes quickly.
Yeah, and here we do with SRT now toward the front. This is going to be the SZ team as they make their way through.
So this is our central.
Foods Ray taking a little bit of a cyclocross go here. WLC though, Richards now Hamlet holding on, and WLC letting us know that they're here to play today.
This is going to be a really interesting race. How much attrition do you think we see in the first couple laps with these guys, Nathan?
I have a feeling that
I see that. Wow.
I have a
They're
feeling
going to
that
get
this
after it,
one
right?
is I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those that they don't mess around. I think we're going to see a lot of attacks, splits, and I mean you can already see it taking place here. And WLC have been extremely aggressive because they need to be at this point, as Athletic have just kind of been dominating. Now, Gran Fondo though, I think that is a little bit of a jump up from them. Watch out for Backpedal, Racers Without Mercy. They've been extremely vocal, Backpedal, showing up at all the broadcasts, cheering on their teammates. And, maybe Backpedal are going to be out here looking to make a statement because they know that they got all eyes on them as well with all the chatter that they do bring to each one of the broadcasts.
The tall tree gets the wind, as they say in Belgium. This is going to be very similar to what we saw in our previous men's division, in that you see the kind of the grouping that happens. There's the clear leaders here, the top three teams, Athletic, I should say, Gran Fondo Team BE, and then Wahoo Lacole, and then the battle for fourth, as you said, with Backpedal, Riders Without Mercy. Let's take a look, though, at this group. Nathan, I'm going to say that by the time we get to the final lap, it's less than 25 remaining in the front group.
Yeah, it depends on how the racers race the race, obviously. You said it right before we got going here, and it looks like today, with the bodies going out the back, they are not slowing down. I'm just always interested.
That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign if you're not on good day, for sure.
One thing for me is how is this an experience thing or is this a fitness thing? A lot of times when I see riders going out the back, yes, yeah, it's both. Well, because getting dropped through that sprint section, it's just so interesting to me that
you're so exposed there. In that, I completely hear what you're saying and agree that knowing how to ride that section is part of Zwift craft, and you don't have to be. If you're smart, you don't have to be so strong.
Yeah,
there?
I mean, for me, I go through there, and maybe I don't know what it is, but is that going to be John Mold riding for WLC? Former, this is the Super League. John Mold jumping in
Yeah, it
here.
is.
Watch out. WLC have shown up with some serious talent, and Moldy, he is not a rider to wink at, to show up on a day like this. And I would put
He's
him
an
in the
awesome
basket
guy.
for the win.
He's been helping us with some of our Welsh name pronunciations. He's a very cool dude. I love seeing John out here. So Wahoo Lacole's got some real spirit, esprit de corps on this team, and watch out for them today. Mould is a game changer, no doubt about it. Foudre, Chain Gang, these are some great teams. It's going to be competitive. Got to remember Lifting Gear, Products and Cycles in Motion, a name that just rolls right off your tongue, right? Sitting in fifth there, but they are only 1 point out of fourth.
Name that just rolls right off your tongue. Athletic here taking over at the front, really trying to. This is interesting. Are they making a move, or is this just they happen to be so strong they find themselves there? The French team really, I'm just recognizing that this is all French flags for this Athletic and the Lava Kit. So trying to get into Super Tuck didn't look like it happened there for Amblar just yet. As the Lava Kit now heads backwards a little bit. The Bikes and Beer coming on through. And who's using the Bikes and Beer Kit?
I'm going to answer another question while we're checking on that, Nathan, because Foudre, I was wondering what that was, and I thought it would be food, right? I figured this was some kind of a fondue or something like that. Well, not even close. It's an amphibious assault ship of the French Marine Nationale, which must be the equivalent of the French Navy. Or I shouldn't say the equivalent, the French Navy, the 12th vessel to bear the name and lead ship of the Foudre. So I'm not sure what that means, but it's obviously a attack ship.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. Couldn't make that up.
No. That's pretty cool. Look at this chase back on. As it looks like there's a whole group that was about to be left behind, getting Quentin Muniers here as he's riding for WLC out of Belgium, just barely grabbing back onto the wheel here for WLC. Muniers, I think, pretty well known amongst the Laverick crowd and the reality of WLC. So definitely now Moldy. Oh, we thought Mold was going to be involved here, but it looks like not today as John goes backwards. Maybe hasn't been on the bike quite as much as of recently. So, going to be in a chase. I thought for sure it's going to be able to stay involved. But WLC here losing one of their top riders.
Yeah, I'm wondering maybe too many Cornish hens or something there. As John, based on muscle memory, I wouldn't be too surprised if he's just in the middle of a break or something and jumping in and getting some fitness. Trying to take a look at what level Zwifter, 35.
So that was the standings for the conversation about what is going to be looking to play out here amongst the riders. What kind of where things stand? It really is Athletic that they're the ones that have something to lose at this point. They're going to be the ones controlling the race, trying to. Well, interesting enough, they're actually going off the front. They're not following wheels. They're not playing the Skylab game, it looks like here. Amrod's saying, no, I'm just going to take it to the racers. He's already got 5 seconds. Look at this. Going into the Essies.
So
this is a big gap, actually. This is a huge gap for this section of course.
Okay, so we're about 1.2K away from the next sprint line, 10 points waiting. This will be interesting to track. It looks good to me with 7 to 8 seconds right now. Watch the numbers there, as doesn't seem to be fading at all. He's not up in the red zone where he's going to blow a gasket either. This looks really, really competent. Should be successful for a 10-point pickup, as we're now at 1K from that line. The sprint line coming right after that bridge there. You can see that it was Richards picking up maximum points last time. FAL first across the line. FTS fastest through segment, which right now, but that can update, but it is Verdeyen, the Belgian, with those points here. He's also picked up some points in that last sprint. But let's see, Nathan, still holding on. Looks pretty good to me. Well, a couple riders now going to try to make this a conversation, that's for sure. These points are really valuable.
They're not slowing down back here. Definitely on a little bit of attack. We're not seeing over
They're
10
not giving
watts per
it to
kilogram
them.
or so, but with this arrow power up, is going to get into a super tuck very quickly is going to be my question. 57, there it is. He's not going to back off. He's going to continue pedaling. 61, 62, 63, arrow. And I think he may have just enough wiggle room. He's going to hold on to this
should be
one.
good. Yeah, not without a big effort, that's for sure. But that's a nice way to get 10 points for your team and put yourselves into the conversation for a little bit later, because all these points will really, really matter. No doubt about it.
That one was right to the line. GFT, the Gran Fondo team. I mean, that was about as close as it gets. I'm going to take another look at that one because I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to judge that one with how close that was.
They'll definitely go to that back-end API and take a look at what let's watch with our own eyes here.
Nice job by Amblard. That was a very early attack. Huge amount of effort to grab those points, but well worth it if you do not have a solid sprint.
Nicholas Amblard there certainly serves notice out here today.
Oof, the banner.
That's a photo finish.
The banner was just in the way there at that section there. You can kind of watch the rider nearby list, though, and I think Van Latham got it. It keeps him in the front there. It looks like right until after the line. So I think Freysen came through for third after they came through the line there. So nice job to the GFTB team as Freysen and VCRT come through for third, I believe, on the day. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the women's racing. They're just making their way into their 19 kilometers. They're about to hit their halfway point out on course. And it is going to be SZ that are really going to try and control this race out here today. And good on them, because today is the day that they can make up some of those points that they've lost in the first half of the season.
Yeah, throw some more coal on the fire out here. This is Swedish Swifters all over. They're holding the first three spots, it looks like, right now. Rundqvist, Kagstrom, and you got to love Asafast Berglund here as well. But this right now, two riders going clear. Just trying to get some data points. They've just done their third sprint out here, and it is Danielle Trewun with, she's been crushing it, Nathan. It looks like absolutely dominating the sprints up to this point, and also quite handy through the fastest through segment with 43 total points. And then Siri with those early efforts still holding on there with 29 points. Great job, Siri. It's going to be Persson, 28, with Kagstrom there. But Swedish Swifters have another rider, the aforementioned Asafast Berglund, with 18 points, and Argue 17, Webb 16. Usually, Nathan, you see Courtney Webb much higher on that table.
Yeah, interesting enough, I think perhaps this, I'm just going to call this out straight up. This sprint is a Zwifter's sprint. A familiarity with this sprint is so incredibly important. If you do not know how and when to take this on, you are going to struggle on this course. And so
I think the biggest danger is going too early, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I
guess it depends on who you are.
The timing is the ramp. It's the little down ramp. As soon as you come off of that, and carrying the speed through the pack and be in the right place in the pack as well. It's not just when you go, it's where in the pack you are and when you go. It's this combination to get the most speed out of that downhill, out of the S's as you possibly can, then carry it through. This morning we saw people winning that sprint with 10 watts per kilogram against people throwing down 15 watts per kilogram because of the tactical difference in how they took on the use of the speed into that roll through, and just getting that experience. And I've lost this sprint many times, honestly, from not being super familiar. Seaside Sprint. This is a very short circuit that's done. One of the rebel routes that we've used in the classics as well. I believe it was part of the classics as well as a couple of Zwift Racing League. And so that course is one where I've done the Kiss 100 on as well. And over again, I think we did it. I don't even know how many times. We must did it 11, 12 laps of that thing. And I learned very quickly that it was a extremely tactical, really, really got to know the knowledge of it to hold, to take it down. And this, I think Roca Cobra may be struggling, not just from having the lack of their leader out there, Ashley Mumin-Pasio, but also just an experience thing, because this course takes a lot of experience through the SEs and that downhill section as well.
Been impressed by Amanda Argue as well. She's more than holding her own out here today. Starting to see some with Roca Cobra not completely dominating. And again, all credit due to Ashley Mumin-Pasio and what she's doing to help grow esports. But with her not here, it really opens up the door today, doesn't it, for other riders to try to break through. It's an exciting day for this group, to tell you the truth. And a rider like Amanda Argue is certainly looking to make the most of this opportunity.
I'm getting some chatter here from the WLC crew, and I want to know, was there a pickup on their team? Because I saw this name and I was like, that can't be Hodges. That's not
on
Brian
Wahoo
Hodges.
Lacole.
Is that Brian Hodges?
What?
Did he get picked up by Wahoo Lacole?
The legendary sprinter?
That's what I'm wondering, is if they've picked up one of the best sprinters in the history of Zwift racing. Because I saw the name and was like, did Insured let go of Hodges?
Unfortunately, Hodges is such a common.
That's why I was
name
like,
that,
I was not sure.
Right.
That maybe I'll let us know. Well, I can find out real quick. Honestly, but
if it was Dave Towle, I would say hell yeah. There's only one of those dudes, but
and Wendy,
with Brian Hodges,
we got Wendy and Dave.
Oh, and Wendy, right? Yeah. But no, that's very interesting. Nice catch, Nathan. So small group together here for the women. They're well through the middle part of this course. 20K to go right now. Few more sprints coming up. Gotta love that Daniela Trewoon is a rider from New Zealand who's really showing herself to be a talent on that NZ Bro Aragorn team. All of the riders on this team out of New Zealand. We've talked about it. They've been absolutely awesome. This program has blossomed in the sun over the last 6 months and become a powerhouse worldwide.
It is Brian Hodges. Yep.
Big change. Holy moly. Well, that's exciting.
That's a big deal for the world of Zwift racing, for sure. And currently
it's like ranked, Tom Brady got traded. You know what I mean?
He's currently ranked top 10, 9th overall in the world.
Oh, he's a closer. He's the real deal. Significant player in this whole
What'd they have
crazy
to give him
world
to
of
move over?
esports.
But I want to know, what happened there? WLC with the pickup. Now, I mean, that's gonna put them in the conversation. Those kinds of moves puts them in the conversation for PD on a whole new level.
I wonder whatever his vice is, like gummy bears or Kit Kats or whatever. Maybe a pallet of Kit Kats showed up at his house. Look at this sprint. Let's call this one now, Nathan.
Smithers.
As it looks like
Truron, NZ. Now Truron coming on through as well. Did you see that 9 watts per kilogram? Look, this is what I'm talking about. Did you see? There was not. It wasn't in the teens even. The timing was perfect there from Smithers. We got to watch that again because that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. Very well played right there. As a matter of fact, this is a master class on how you do it. Let's go back and take a look, Nathan. Call us through it.
Look where she comes from. Look at where she comes from. So this is what I'm talking about. It's the ramp off of the downhill section, and as they carry that
Carrying
speed
more
through,
speed
look at where
into the
she
group.
is too. Look at where she is.
It's almost like you use the Peloton as a little power up, actually, as you
She's
come
at the
in
back.
using
She
them.
throws down the arrow power up at this moment. The moment she comes down that ramp, boom! There her avatar stands up, carries the speed all the way through. She's only doing 9 watts per kilogram. Look at Truron, 12 watts per kilogram from Truron here. Right? I mean, this is a completely different power story. It's the speed from Smithers that just outplays everybody else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, that's a really good look at how you do it out here and how this is not an exercise contest. Esports really has a significant amount of race IQ that you need. Zwift craft, good way to put it. Back in with the group, 25K in. I think we're going to go back and join the front group for the men, or no, excuse me, the women here.
We'll jump back with the men in just a moment. They just finished one of their sprints. We did miss it there for a second. As the women do calm down, we'll head over to the men's race, actually, as they are just making their way through.
Sorry, I just saw the
17K.
orange screen. I saw your splash screen. I thought we were there. They are. Well, I was predicting 25, Nathan, was my over-under coming into the last lap. I might be right. It's whittling down out here. Very tough day for the guys. These are the gladiators of esports, no doubt about it. There's Brian Hodges for Wahoo LaColle. Well, I hope you like the new Wahoo LaColle gear. I'm sure they'll have him kitted out. Get that new kicker.
Good to see Kim Ladle hanging out in the chat, former UK national champion of Zwift, actually.
Oh,
Fulford
man,
is here as well.
Kim.
Okay, this is like Scone Power
the
has
best,
shown
man.
up. All of the Scone Power is here. I'm wondering if they brought their tea and crumpets because we're going to have this is going to be a lot of fun having everybody hanging out. But, and the question
Kim
here.
Little is good people. I'm a big fan of that human.
You know, what I'm wondering here is if Tim Fulford was behind
Even with the
any of
visor.
these trades. Any of these trades. That's what I want to know. We should
Oh,
just get him in
yeah,
here
it's got his
and have a
fingerprints.
conversation about what exactly happened here with Wahoo LaColle, because what a pickup. I mean, 9th overall currently in the world here for Hodges. Now, he hasn't grabbed any points, though, so far on the day, so I'm wondering if they're really
Maybe he's
holding
coming back.
Richards,
I haven't
Hamlet,
seen
as well
him
as
race.
Rescue. They're the only ones. Really, they're Verdayan at the top there for GF. So, Frazen holding it down for what team do we have here in this? Is that the VCRT? That's going to be VCRT, I would assume. Yeah.
Well, so we'll keep that one in our back pocket, remembering that Hodges is in this group. You can see the American there right in the middle of the peloton. Nice mix of teams. We're looking at how things have scored out here today. And certainly Verdayan has been super impressive. What are you hearing? I'm just wondering what they've got for us.
Oh, just a play on my words because I probably slurred a little bit. It's all about the poisoning and timing. It's not the positioning and timing. It's definitely about that was the way that they the way that they took down that sprint was the new it was the new power up, the poison power up that ended up being used in game here to take them down. They poisoned the competition. It's not about positioning. Of course I didn't say positioning, Duncan. Of course I didn't say positioning. It was all about the poison.
Power up would look like a cobra fang, like a snake head.
Well, this probably feels like poisoning for everybody else as Almeida attacks again on the front here. And Athletic need to do something, actually, to be honest, because they are way on the back foot. And again, this is kind of what's playing out over and over again throughout the day-to-day, Dave, is that the sprinters, those who are really showing up just for those sprints without any breakaway situations, are taking down tons of points, and they're putting themselves back in the conversation.
You know, you learn something every day on the ZRL, Nathan. I did not know Remco was a somewhat popular name, but we've got a Remco in this race on the VCRT team. Remco Beckers. He's from Holland, not Belgium, but obviously referencing Remco Evenepoel. This is Dito that we're with right now, the Coalition rider. Coalition is a team that's going to be looking to make a difference out here today. Always a big fan of these guys.
Shane Gay rolling through. A little bit of a split behind here. Trying to get back on terms. It looks like it is going to be Newman from backpedal jumping through. Hoodles.
Lucien
14
Dito.
watts per kilogram from Hoodles because he knows it is.
I think it's
this is the
hoodless,
moment.
but
This is the moment. Yeah. No, that reminds me of Peter Pan with the Robin Williams
That's hysterical.
film for some reason.
Yeah.
That because wasn't there somebody with
From
Hook? It was
right?
from Hook.
Yeah.
Wasn't there somebody named Hoodles or something along those lines? I had
think
some
there
sort of
was.
a that must have been like a Freudian slip to my childhood. Hoodles trying to get on terms here. I think he lost his marbles though. Art now unable to hang on. And
Very aggressive race.
Thanks a lot. I blame Duncan. Blame Duncan. I blame Duncan.
Duncan's
for the
throwing
point.
us off. Yeah.
Duncan definitely is the wrench here in the middle of my spokes when it comes to the poisoning of the commentary. All right, Ramazo here from Zwift España as they make their way through halfway point.
Day.
3 to go at this point. The women here also with 2 to go as they make their way around with Smithers. This conversation I really want to highlight on the women's standings. As you can see here, SC sitting there with that 75 points. Roca Corbett, they do not have their quality team. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about is if we look at the point situation, though, and how it's playing out so far, it's NZ Bro that have been dominating, really. But look at Kingstrom at 37. Pearson here with the Bristol Flyers. They're holding down in that third. Series still that sprint that she did early on is holding her in that fourth place. Nice job stealing some points there. Then Asa there in fifth is keeping SC in this conversation strongly. Now, what I am predicting here is that they're going to continue to try and whittle things down. They're going to continue to try and put the attacks on to make things really difficult and try and send some off the front to get more first across the line points. Because I don't think any fastest through segments are really on grabs any longer.
Agreed.
So SC, I think at this point, just need to get some riders out of this pack and gone to solidify and be confident that they just have those points for the rest of the race. 2 times through plus a win would make them the winners on the day.
Yeah, and that that conversation really illustrates how this is a team sport. You've got to have some depth on your team. It's, I guess, in some of these smaller divisions, you maybe can get by with 2 talented riders who collect a lot of points, but in general, it's just not enough. You've got to get more hands working on the farm, to tell you the truth, if you want to harvest a win out here. I mean, if you had 2 Daniela Truuns, you'd be in pretty good shape, that's for sure. But the Swedes, I think they're doing what they like to do here. They're certainly in the command position coming into the last third of this race. 43K of racing. This one will be done and dusted out here. But yeah, NZ Bro, Aragorn. Also, let's take a look at how many riders they've got up here, because Smithers has been awesome today, and she's not alone. I mean, Danielle Truun, yeah, NZ Bro, they're ready to have at it here. LFG, let's go.
Otto here, Roca Corba trying to make a move though, it looks like, and they need to on the day. This is the defense here at this point of their position, and Otto though. The other thing, Courtney Webb has.
Where's Courtney Webb? Right there. Courtney's about back at the back. So Courtney Webb, not the Courtney Webb that we've seen over the first 3 races. Maybe she's saving something for the finale though, because here she comes. As a matter of fact, right on cue, isn't that Webb moving right to the front?
Looking.
Wow, here we go.
Looking for the name.
Positioning
here.
In this group.
That may be Argue actually. I'm not seeing Webb showing up on the day.
Maybe she is not here. Okay, that was Argue.
I thought she had shown up on the day, but perhaps not. Maybe she's not here on the day.
Yeah, she's here. Oh, she was here.
She was here.
I don't know that she's in. Right. I don't know that she's in this group though.
No,
I'm very surprised. That's stunning. That's like hearing Eddie Merckx got dropped. To tell you the truth, you're just not really prepared. We have to unwrap that.
SC on control. You can see as they come down through this next sprint point. It has been
Eddie Merckx not in this race.
Absolutely dominating. Nope, Eddie Merckx is not in this race.
He would not fare well. Believe me, these women would be kicking some butt. There's no doubt. They're flying out here, Nathan. How about the Swedes today, though? The Swedes and the New Zealanders, as far apart in the globe as you could be. Here's another sprint, though. Smithers has been crushing it. Is it going to be enough? I think so. Nathan. The gantry comes up quickly.
She does it again.
Will she? Yes. Does it again. Backstrom right there. Nice. That's impressive riding. Smithers in the house.
that come through. They're going to have a lap and a half to go, 45 minutes of racing in. This is come right down to that hour mark. I wonder if they're going to be able to get in under the hour.
That's quick because you have 43K with this amount, almost 490 meters of elevation gain. That's about 1,500 feet. A lot of climbing. Or a moderate amount of climbing.
What are the lap
Enough
times
to put a little
here,
sting
then?
in the legs. So the fastest time that we had seen from the men was an 8 minute and 30 second. That was at 50.5K, just exactly what you were saying earlier in the broadcast. That was one individual who did that. Trying to remember. Julia Shalau has the fastest individual women's lap time out here. And I think it's a little closer to 9 minutes, if I remember correctly. Actually, I could go reference that, but it's dangerous when you have me looking things up, Nathan, because then I hit a button and all of a sudden I disconnect myself. So I'm not as skilled as the Jedi master of broadcast. Goes without saying. Well, looks like this group's going to be, it's going to be awfully hard to break the will of any of these women. And I'm expecting we see a sprint out of this group, but you never do know. Roca Corba rider Daniel Otto would like to change that, but I don't know that anyone wants to sprint against Danielle Towle out here today.
Yeah, getting rid of Towle, I think, is going to be, because she might not have been timing things on that downhill, but when it's just a straight up sprint with 12 watts per kilogram underneath her name, it's going to be tough to battle against Towle. So we'll see what ends up playing out there if they keep things together. I think SZ, the card to play, as we've been saying, is going to be trying to create a breakaway situation with the numbers that they do have. They have not been winning the sprints so far. Back in with the men, they're about to make their way through the 2 to go, 0.2 to go in just a moment. This is going to be their fourth time up this climb. And Aeronauts here from Team NL actually looking to make some moves. Let's take a look at what the current situation is for the points are for the men, as it is still going to be 40 at the top there. Friesen with 22. Really dominated so far by GFTB.
Yeah. Well, we saw that in some of the earlier racing. One rider almost doubling. And you wonder now, is this one rider who's really been put on task to go out and get these early points and turning it over to the team? It certainly looks possible, because Van Latham could be ready to step in and offer, give your back a little protection, as they say. This is Lucien Didot that we're with now, the coalition rider.
My feeling on this group at this point is they went out so incredibly hard, broke this down to a smaller pack, and they've kind of settled into, this is the reality of our race now at this point. They don't seem extremely interested in really pushing anything, because I mean, look at the numbers over the top there. There weren't anything, there was no double digits.
You start to realize too, why am I going to make an effort to drop guys that aren't droppable? So, and if they've weathered the storm to this point, I completely agree. Don't bang your head against a wall now. Start moving into the next phase, the higher level tactics, because these are the hitters that you're with here. These guys have made it 27.5K into a 43K race, but more importantly, they've withstood those sprints. The sprints aren't so dangerous, not as dangerous as some could be as far as getting dropped out of the group, as again, so much momentum is being brought through those lines. But it's the couple little uphill jaunts that you take where you can find yourself in trouble pretty quickly if they're going exceptionally hard.
Women's are just coming into their penultimate climb. We're going to take a look at how things are playing out with them, as it is going to be SZ again on the attack. And this is the conversation we've been waiting for, if they were able to make anything happen. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get any kind of gap, as NZ Bro do come across very quickly and shut that down. They are putting a little bit of pressure on the purple kids there. And Roca Corba is really who they're interested in getting rid of. That is exactly what they want to see.
Boy, where's the first Roca Corba rider? Looks like Otto is going to be there. This is a small group at this point. Definitely a different race that we're getting to enjoy out here today on Two Bridges. Well, not so bad for Roca Corba all in all. They survive that assault.
Yeah, SC are gonna. I mean, I don't know if they have the ability at this point, but if I were SC, I'd be thinking about an attack with one or two riders here as soon as it slows down. And a lot of times teams don't think about the flat sections with the roll through, you know, speed after the downhill section like this. So my tactic as a DS would just say the moment that this pack slows down from that downhill, right around this corner or so, I would say go over the top. You know, you've got the rest. Your legs are fresh to go now at this point. Well, not about fresh, but they're gonna have a little bit extra power in them at this point because of that rest on the downhill. The moment that they hit this 49, 48, 47, boom, go to 48, get a gap immediately, and then use the climb into the SEs to extend it and see how far you can get with that, because this group is small enough that you can make some moves with it.
Yeah, I completely agree here. This is going to be, for the racers in this group, you're going to really have to expand your tactical knowledge and see what you can come up with. This is it. We're down to one lap to go. Grupo Compacto here for our front group in the women's race.
One to go, one to go
two,
here.
three, four Swedish Zwifters in this group. See if they can take advantage of the numbers that they've got.
And this happened earlier today, though, too, is you know, just because you have the numbers, so as we saw with Skylab, it does not mean that you can. I mean, there's just a reality that some people are just hanging on, that there's the ability to go across just isn't there.
Yeah, so, I mean, you look at how the points are distributed at the finish, 50 for the win, 40 for second, 35 for third. Those top three spots are incredibly valuable. So if you have four riders, but none of them find the top three, and a team like Roca Corba puts two riders up there, all of a sudden you start running out of points as you work down the table.
We've got a situation.
Also depends on what you've done up to this point as well.
Almeida, again, athletic here. The moment that they headed into this final lap and a half here. There's two to go. So with on the men's side of things here, headed right into the S's. I thought perhaps they were going to be able to get this gap going, but it looks like he got shut down pretty quickly. These are lapped riders with Sparrow and Man from BL13. They have done their job. I believe they did grab some points actually early on for the team. They're actually going to jump in here and maybe look for another fastest through segment perhaps, but as they may go all in. But as we do see Hamlet here, really well positioned. That's exactly about, well, I don't know if that's exactly where he wants to be, and actually using a power up there. So most likely going to get rolled here in a second. It's from somebody in that middle. Here it comes. Look at the arrow power up here. Watch that black jersey here from, I would say, the VCRT team as he comes on through. It was Freisen with some pretty good timing, but Van Latham just really outworked him there, it looks like, as Havoc comes through, I believe, for second. Freisen have to settle for third.
So, and no Hodges up there in that sprint. So he must be riding back into form, would be my guess, or my uneducated guess on that.
179.
He's hanging in this group.
Currently coming from Hodges. Maybe they're just waiting for the final sprint, as you did say, 50 points at the line, perhaps?
It's possible. I mean, it's certainly. How have they been doing with their other riders? I guess is if they've been using riders. Yeah, it's entirely possible. Actually, when you look at, they've been doing just fine. I mean, obviously Verdeyen has been phenomenal, but they're right there with Frisson because they've got Richards and Hamlet both picking up 16 and 15 points respectively, and then not that much further down to pick up Askew. So maybe they are keeping Hodges in reserve for that last sprint. Only time will tell.
The question here is, where is Athletic?
He's here.
Where is Athletic? They have been uninvolved at this point completely. And that is, unlike them. I mean, they're obviously at the top of the leaderboard right now when it comes to the
that's a different story. Right. That's a good point, Nathan, because to do it with your entire team is not a great tactic, obviously. So it does make you wonder there. It's hard to sprint every 7K against these monsters. It really is. And boy, with that lion's share, 50 points. So 50 points for the win is the equivalent of winning 5 of the 6 intermediate sprints out here. And then obviously not scoring anything in the finish, which pretty unlikely that would happen. But I could definitely see keeping a guy like Brian for the finish. Especially a sprinter's a sprinter, right? So much of that is instinct and knowing exactly when to go. It's not quite like in real life where you're fighting with elbows and getting chopped and flicked out there. It's much more, as Nathan has talked about in this broadcast, getting the timing right. Experience is absolutely key. There's no way to make up for that. And Brian Hodges brings as much experience to this field as James Barnes. I mean, he's right up there, isn't he? With the most experience.
He's got the type of experience. Well, I wouldn't say the type of experience is Barnesy. Maybe I'd have to take a look, but definitely right up there. Barnesy,
it
goes as far back as it was. I mean, he's been around.
It's like he was at the original supper when you're talking about Barnes, like the first 12 guys. You and Eric Mann.
I want to say that
John
Barnesy is going to be more of like a 2017, 2016. So Hodges got involved right around that time that the insured crowd really popped into the scene.
Gotcha.
So the women just came through one of their final sprints as well here. I just want to take a quick look at it. Solid.
Okay. Smithers again.
Smithers trying,
this time,
but Bristol
gets
Flyers really suddenly a part of this conversation with some aero power-ups. SZ, though, come through in that second, so a couple of points there stolen from Bristol Flyers.
Second, fourth, and sixth for Swedish Swifters. That's a really good sign for them for the finish. It's going to be hard to beat the Swedish Swifters today. I think Ed Zedbro, Aragon is going to have met their match. I think the Swedes are rolling, Nathan, with the women back in now with the men. Is they're on one of the tough little sectors out here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the women. There is no breakaway. I would jump in with them, but they've kind of go back to Grupo Compacto as they head into their final few kilometers here in just a moment. It is 2 minutes to the start of the next women's race here for the EMEA West. Just as a heads up for everybody, we will be jumping in with them. And then we do have on the men's side of things at 1:30, also the West for the men. So lots and lots of racing, obviously, out here today. Nothing really happening here. It looks like in this central division, any more breaks. As we did say earlier, it does look like those who are going to make it have made it. Hembrol, this is one of the stronger riders, actually. You got to be so careful. He's only at 144 beats per minute. I don't think he's actually in trouble. He'll get back, but it's going to be a really big effort to do so. So a little bit of inattentiveness can end up burning some serious matches. He's going to have to throw down a solid 6 to 7 watts per kilogram.
Book.
Yeah, this is going to be, 55 kilometers per hour, 54 here from the group just now. He might not get back.
They want to keep him away. Yeah, the steeper it gets on this descent, the worse it is. Now it's starting to flatten out here, but if I'm a couple of these teams, I'd be pretty happy to not have him around. But it's going to be touch and go. They're coming up on 1 lap to go, so that's your really good look at that last 500 meters to the line. Got to get it all right. Got to put all the pieces in place and catch a break, to tell you the truth. This is a very, very fun sprint to watch. He does get back on. Looks like some teammates
they put O'Connor
at the
back. Yeah, O'Connor and Almeida. That's what they should be doing. He's one of their strongest riders. Look at how big the heart rate went up to 163, 164.
Nice job by the team there. Very, very well done. That was exactly the right amount of help, too. They didn't overdo it. Just get to the back, kind of reach. It's almost like pulling someone out of the ocean. You don't want to get pulled in yourself.
Exactly. It's just like being in the ocean. It's totally
a good analogy, I think.
It is.
I'm proud of that analogy.
It's just like being in the ocean. I like that one.
If you do it wrong, they pull you into the ocean with them rather than both of you getting saved.
Yeah, throw my life raft. Don't pull me in. Here we go. Otto now with
Roca
Corba. They've waited for this moment, perhaps, because they've been so quiet all the way through. And look at how they strung it out. There is not an organized group back there. SZ suddenly put on the back foot. They thought that they had this one maybe in the bag with the numbers, but now Otto says no. 3 seconds.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, if you show up and you don't have all of your heavy hitters, you got to be extra smart. And Otto was exactly that out here today. It's about 1.5K. We got ourselves another Donnybrook. She's making some big watts, Nathan. She's gone all in. Tennille Otto out of South Africa. Roca Corba is trying to really, really carry the mantle for the team. She is pinning it now down into the super tuck here. You don't want to get trapped into staying in the super tuck too long. She jumps back out, gets on a gear. This is it. She's got a little over 1K to go.
Yeah, she might be able to hold on to this,
actually. Do it.
6.7 watts per kilogram here, 4 seconds. It's going to come right to the line. We saw about exactly the same kind of gap just a little bit earlier with Chemnitz in the men's race when it came to the Middle East here. So now Denton from Rover Corba actually on the front. Now backing off a little bit, it's going to be up to NZ Bro. A little bit of fighting at the front here, and that's exactly what they want to see rather than any kind of organization. Coming around here, though, I'm not sure it's going to be enough time here, Dave. 3 seconds is all it is. It's going to
look at the numbers.
If they open up
She's
now,
still at 6.6. She's
50
going to
kilometers
do
per
it.
hour.
I think she's going to do it.
She's matching it.
They're not making enough
I think
power.
you're right.
They're not
they
making
need to
enough
go
power.
now. Yeah, it's too late. It's
She's
too
done
late here.
She's got
SZ
it.
should have came across.
South Africa does it again. Roca Corba shows up. Courtney Webb not in this group. Who steps up? This woman right here, right now, Tennille Otto, with a huge esports win today. Danielle Truun, no surprise, taking the field sprint for New Zealand and NZ Bro Aragorn. But the Swedes, Nathan, I think the Swedes as a team probably took the day.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow, that's fun.
Really good racing all around.
One of our best days in a long time. So much fun. All right, guys, they're inside of the last lap now. Get your poison out. Very aggressive here.
How's this
they're not playing around. This is a replay of or is this a replay or live? I'm sorry.
This is live. This is live.
This is live
for the men's race. Yeah.
So sprint points coming through, and
we'll see if we can.
We'll take a look. These riders all over the place right now. Pretty crazy out there. So these guys at 43K, just like you saw with the women, they're well into the last lap. We'll see this general regrouping after that last bonus sprint here. This is the front group. No one off of the front here, so we can lock this down as they hit this cobble sector through the Italian Villa.
Athletic here now making their way to the front, it looks like, as Havet takes over. 185 beats per minute. It has whittled down a little bit more. You did see how incredibly strung out it was just a moment ago. I am getting some information coming on through. I appreciate it. As I am being told Adam Zimmerman has also joined the Wahoo Lacole.
Getting the band back together. Kind of a new team, new energy out here in esports. That's exciting to hear. Well, it's not a new team. I should say just some big signings is a good way to put it. Some exciting moves. Wahoo Lacole certainly not a new team.
Umblard here now from Athletic. They did get him back involved, and I think that's going to be a big boost to their final points at the end.
That was well worth the effort from the whole team there, for sure.
My question here, 165 from Hodges, has he just been waiting for this 50 points? Because he's been just,
I think
looks like riding wheels. He hasn't really invested anything so far into any of these intermediate sprint points from what I could see.
But he's stayed in this group, right? I mean, so he's not unfit by any means, because this has not been easy to get here. So, and once a sprinter smells that line, everything changes. You just flip that switch, and their killer instinct mentality comes into play. I think he's going to sprint.
This is so close. Hamlet there at 42 now, taking over at the top. Van Lytham and then Verdeyen. I mean, usually you see kind of a walk away a little bit from one or two riders, but they've really shared a lot of the points between them. GFTB still there at a 40 and 35. They are kind of dominating right now. Athletic, though, 31, 15, and 15 below there. So we'll see what Athletic can pull off here. Again, this is a situation where one of the teams that's currently leading and kind of been dominating this series so far is not holding on to that top spot very well. Current standings here, Athletic at 77 points, GFTB, and you see Wahoo Cole. Wahoo Cole having a good day, and this will be their day to make up, I think, that gap in points a little bit if they can pull something off here with Hodges at the end.
Yeah, this is your chance. This is the opening is there, so you want to exploit that. But look at Hodges, so well positioned right now, Nathan, sitting right up in the front of the at the back end of the spear tip.
These guys are flying. They're catching riders left and right on the lap here. Athletic now taking over at the front. Interesting to see. They're trying to make the race very hard, it looks like, as they head into this next.
Are they trying to drop Hodges? I mean, they're not. That's for sure. Yeah. That's not going to be enough. This group's going to come to the line together.
O'Connor here now, 12 watts per kilogram real quickly. It looks like Athletic seriously on the pressure point, just trying to completely put in a couple of wrenches into the
This can really backfire on
teams here. It can. We saw Heino try and do this. We saw Heino do this yesterday, and it did not work out for them one bit. They've got to get the separation from and whittle down things. They've got to put a grenade behind and not let it come back. It looks like it may have worked a little bit here. Look at the stragglers. This is not gonna. It's not going to come back easily. You're going to have a whittled down group.
Yeah, there's
a lot
at
of
least
red
half
jerseys
of these
here.
guys.
A lot of red jerseys.
I'm going to anticipate. Yeah, I would agree. But the problem is the one man that is there is Hodges. He's loving this right now. Get ready for the onslaught. Here we go, folks, coming into the final K. Basically, when they hit the bridge, call it 1K to go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is on like Donkey Kong. We've had a selection out of the front group over that last climb. Now it's a battle of wills. Who wants it more, Nathan? They are absolutely flying at 63K per hour right now.
Such a small group at this point, and 58 kilometers per hour. There is no group behind that is going to come even close to the kinds of speed that we're seeing here. It is going to be Hodges, I would think, is going to be the best sprinter on the day left here. Hodges. He hasn't really put anything into the basket so far when it comes to the sprinting. We'll see if WLC can take this down. Fell goes very early here, 14 watts per kilogram. Will that be the jump that they need here? Almeida following very closely. Where is going to be Brian Hodges? Brian Hodges there, 10 watts per kilogram, 12 watts per kilogram, 16 watts per kilogram. Here, Hodges, he's been saving the aero power up for this moment. There it is, WLC. That's the pickup, exactly whereby easily a bike length, and they take it down. Well, and that's going to be 50 points over the top of Hamblets there. I mean,
welcome back, Brian Hodges. Nice win there. Textbook Hodges. Absolutely uses his brain through the entire 43K and then delivers with his legs in the last 200 meters. Perfect job today from Brian Hodges. And taking the win, we're going to go.
Jumping in with the women here. This is going to be the women's West race that they've completely blown apart. We'll try and get some replays for everybody on exactly what happened here. This is going to be women's West coverage. We'll get their replay of their first sprint as well. We'll take a look at the results there. Hodges, though, from the men's race that just went down. But this is as we jump over real quickly here, this is what we saw last week as probably the most exciting race of the week, if not the season, if not the year, actually, as they were taking on the reality of Sisu and Catherine Curry, Rose Beast Mode, trying to hold on to the line. I mean, this was one of those situations where you had an awesome Kase Pats battle, and this is some of the best that are going to be out here. Ramsey, Catherine Curry, Maud LaRue from WLC. Again, WLC are going to be a huge part of this conversation, just like they were there in the Central just a moment ago. So great racing here coming out of the Women's West.
Yeah, boy, it's amazing now as we move into our third wave of racing, how much talent there is around the globe that joins us every Tuesday out of the community. And some of the best racers in the world are in the community. We mentioned Ashley Moolman-Pasio, the reigning esports world champion, racing in that the previous, well, not today, but she has been racing with us on Tuesdays. And then obviously it's one of the more interesting stories when you talk about Catherine Curie, who's the only women's 3-time winner in the ZRL Premier League. And now she's just loves the situation she has with her Sisu I Race Like a Girl team and is out here racing in the community. Such a strong group. And, I mean, yeah, the Maud LaRue story, another one of the real talented athletes that's definitely a rider to watch that's been joining us out here. And you see Rose Beast Mode as well, a team that just keeps finding talented athletes. What's even more amazing is Sisu I Race Like a Girl, Nathan, is in 5th right now. That's
Very
how
tight race,
competitive
though.
this group is.
Beast Mode, Cryogen, Stelvio, and Sisu I Race Like a Girl are extremely close there for that third place. The battle there for first, I mean, Wahoo Nicole in this women's race, though, they've kind of established themselves, it looks like, at the top here, and they're going to be hard to take down at this point with a 7-point gap. And Lou Bates, the story really holding down the flag there for No Pins R3R E-Racing. We'll see if today, though, changes things up a little bit on this course. We have seen a lot of racers that maybe have gotten dropped in past weeks involved for some points here because of the nature of the course. Rose Beast Mode, I have a feeling, also are going to show up and be like, enough is enough, and try and make some of the moves of their own against this Wahoo Nicole team.
So the hostilities will begin. Talking about the sprints, they've already done one, and you can see that 9.9, so 4K from now, will be the next sprint. We've gotten to know it well, that fast run-in. Actually, this is the sprint right here. Jamie Lee Wright, Brayonian, getting up in the conversation, but it looks like they're going to just come over the top. Who was that? Langham, Zoe Langham maybe picking that one up. Maud LaRue up there.
Almost too close to tell, honestly, on that.
Yeah, these
one.
distances are definitely off for me right now. I had that first sprint at 2.7K.
Well, it says
These
miles
laps are
at the top.
7.3K each. Oh, it's miles. That's what's going on.
We're in. I thought I had changed that.
So I was very, very confused as to how we would be sprinting right there. But that now makes sense to me because we're using miles with this machine. So there we go. So it's about 26.5 miles of racing out here. Total. Just moving into old money from metric.
Apologies on that. I know we have a lot of European viewers as well, so apologies on that. We had to, the length of these races today has made things a little bit more difficult getting across all the categories. Jamie Lee Wright here, I thought was going to hold on to this one. We'll see if able to do so. And I think it was maybe it showed her still at the top. Oh, that was interesting. We saw 4th there for a second.
No, I that must be just a lag because we'll see in just a moment here.
I don't know. I mean, that looks like Wright is on the right-hand side there.
You think that's Aeonian?
Yeah,
it's not.
On the far
Aeonian
right
is Aeonian is 4th. Jamie Lee. See the green on the side of the jersey? That's Jamie Lee.
Oh yeah, good call there. Good call. Huh. Yeah, it's definitely not it's gonna be WLC. Maud LaRue, I think, actually taking that down. My mistake.
I agree. Yeah. It looks like WSC gets 2 riders up there.
I think she took
actually
4th, Jamie Lee, actually. As we see across the line there, she drops to 4th, and it's just a leg on the side there. So as they make the way around, back in with the ladies here.
Yeah, a course like this. I wonder how Sisu I Race Like a Girl feels about a course like this, as far as how it would suit them.
Well, Curry's got a solid sprint, but is it
yeah,
solid
she's
enough
won
against some of these other riders?
Yeah. So I mean, it's certainly she's not out of her league in any element out here. Zoe Langham, I think, was the rider with Maud Lemieux that was up there picking up points for Wahoo Lacole.
Yeah, Langham has definitely been one of the Langham and Arthur. Those are the two that have been the danger women when it comes to Wahoo Lacole's main sprinting. And so we'll see what kind of points they're able to pull off so far. We'll jump in and see if we got some segments for them in just a moment as they make their way around for lap number 2. 3. That can be lap number 3. Despa's in here. Socks for Watts. A little bit quieter from Socks for Watts recently in here. Good to see that No Pins R3R do have a few more riders here making this front group. Now Cryogen Stelvio making their way with Munden, and it's also going to be Hayes, actually, as they hit the climb in that 10% gradient. These are the moments. They do want to break things apart. There's a smaller group, lots of feather power-ups. Great time to use them. No reason to really reserve too much when it comes to these power-ups, actually.
No, you reload at every arch out there, and a little bit of a split happening, though, back to the middle of the group. Looks like Cryo's got their riders on the right side of things here, as that's going to be Jenna Baril, South African. Boy, they have been coming on strong. Ursula Barlovskaya, Sienna Hayes, and Joe Munden, as you were just saying, on that Cryo team. It looks like they got all their riders on the right side of things. Wagner here, Rose Beast Mode. That's very familiar orange and black kit. I think they've got either 2 or 3 riders up in the selection. This is definitely a selection happening. It looks like 3 riders making the selection, but a lot of pink and blue. That's going to be Wahoo Lacole. If they got 3 or 4 up here in this group, if it's 4, that's going to have the alarm bells ringing, but there's not much you can do about it, to tell you the truth. For me, Maud is the breakthrough rider.
Maud is the breakthrough rider of the
she's so strong, so competent.
One of the breakthrough riders of the year here. We are in with the men's West here, just getting out for their first sprint, 2.5 kilometers in. Good timing here coming also from Wahoo Lacole. They've also got a team, it looks like, here in this West, Worthington. Is he going to time it well here? It looks like. Oh, Veritas, maybe. That second kick timing always kind of can surprise us a little bit there. Looking at.
Well, this has got completely single file after that sprint, too, from tip to tail. That's a good 10 seconds now. Well, you would have thought that was enough.
Yeah, I thought Worthington had it there, but look at the speed.
Wow, this is impressive. I mean, like a rocket ship there.
I think he got it. I actually think, we can't see it there from the, it's right behind, but it looked to me like he had the camera angle. I wanted to get it straight on camera angle, but it didn't give it to us. Because there's, but I think Veritas might have gotten that one. We'll take a look in just a sec here at the points.
Portuguese rider, got a name there, because that is a very fast finish. I would like to see that 15-second power. Back in now with Rands and the MTC Grifters in our peloton. This is back to kilometers here. These guys, that first sprint just happened as they're out on course here for the same 43K, 6 laps, 7.3K each. There's a little bit of a lead in from the pens to get the riders out on course, but they are out on lap 1 proper right now.
Very large group here. It doesn't look like this one's going to break apart quite as much. I get the feeling. I have a feeling that there's going to be a little bit more competition that's going to keep this together, as we still have 40-plus riders, maybe even 50-plus riders on the day.
No doubt that it at this point in the race, looking around and seeing a bigger group gives you some encouragement. More riders to work with and close down gaps.
Maybe gives you encouragement. It doesn't give me any encouragement. It doesn't give me any encouragement. I want as few riders as possible. Let's go. Get off the front here. But the reality, I think, though, with this,
I guess encouragement, it's not going to be as crazy of a day is what where mine's.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want crazy.
gotcha.
You want
I
chaos.
want
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The more chaos, the better. The more chaos,
Right.
the better in these situations for me. But that's my racing and the way I like to
But that's
race
mountain
is
biking, right? I mean, mountain bike racing is all about chaos and management, and road racing is control, right? And trying to almost like baseball, where you just keep looking at what's best for us. What's best for us? Is this good? Putting a ride in the break. Do we have a good enough winning chance out of that break with that rider, or do we want to reset it? And that's constantly changing. And then one rider gets a flat tire, and everything gets thrown out the window. And it makes racing just. There's so many variables. Things are constantly changing out here.
And as it changes at the front here, that is going to be Abrantes giving a go. And this is a solid little kick actually coming from Abrantes. He really jumped out of the field there. It's only 9 watts per kilogram though. Megale is there looking to go across. Bike zone, 11 watts per kilogram. The double digits is really when you start thinking about what kind of gap is going to open up. The speed there at 37 kilometers per hour. Veritas there with 2 off the front. It's going to be an organized move, but Abrantes isn't holding on to the wheel well, so he's not getting 29, 30 meters. They are out a little ways, but it doesn't look like PTZ are going to do something about that. Shut it right on down. Abrantes doesn't even have the draft here at this point as Megales continues to go over the top. 5 seconds is the minimum of what they need at this point for this to really make any kind of dent.
Right. Yeah. It's such a big risk to go for these points. You got to, well, I guess you have to understand what your ability is. And this certainly, the 10 points are very, very alluring out there. Next sprint coming up for these guys at 9.9K. So we're quite a ways away right now. Certainly this resets before we get there.
In with the,
no one's
the
holding
men
that
right
group
now, the
off.
women are just coming through their next sprint out on course. We'll go ahead and grab a replay of that as we watch Megales come back into the fold. Now, he may not have stayed away, but damage was done. This is a huge group off the back, actually. And a little bit surprising for me to see the likes of Seldernick. We got Johansson here. These are no joke names here. So obviously the pace was pretty high over the top of there. PTZ with a few riders in here. So they will get back on terms. This is going to give you an idea of what kind of race they're going to have in store for themselves. This is what you were talking about, Dave. The numbers are here, and it makes you a little bit more comfy when you got the numbers alongside of you because people can kind of share the load to get back with the crew.
Absolutely. When you see that gap, you realize, well, there's plenty of guys who will want to work to close that down. You don't feel anywhere near the amount of panic as you would if it was just you and another guy or just yourself dangling off the back of that group, where you realize it's not going to be a fun next couple of minutes if I'm going to rejoin the group. But these guys are continuing to push on the front here. Again, it's been a war of attrition in most of the categories out here. I don't know that everybody always comes back either, but these guys do. We'll get a peloton back together here in the next K or so.
Couple may be struggling on the back of that chase group. I think some of them are going to jump across though, and just
certainly not their finest moment. Yeah. It doesn't get any easier when it pitches up like this too. You do start to feel like I really need to get up there. At least get into the draft and find the sweet spot for a bit.
I'm going to go ahead and bring in the standings here as for this men's race, get an idea of where things are at across the board for them. Well, maybe we won't be bringing in the standings. We have to wait a moment here to get these in. And give
Wow, Lecole seems to have a team in just about every race that we've done today. Impressive job by that whole program.
Yeah, across like every single one of the races. Yeah, they are extremely involved and in somewhere in the top 2 to 3. Getting lots of messages coming on through here from them, giving us an idea of what kind of following that they have as well.
Yeah, they're building up. It's become a brand for sure. I mean, they are brands, but the team is starting to make that jump, that quantum leap from from being a popular team to actually having a supporters network around it. I think Next and Short has that vibe now too. It's fun to watch as that builds.
9K in. This is going to be their second sprint. First one was taken down, it looked like maybe by Veritas. I believe that was going to be the rider Nelson Pinto here that did make that happen. Veritas have been extremely aggressive so far. Werner AHDR now leading things out at the front. 11 minutes down. 115
what
minutes
an array of
already. That is a lot of climbing already. I didn't realize how much climbing there was each and every lap here. Fisher now.
Yeah.
Early go. Not sure that's going to pay off for him, though. 64 kilometers per hour. Here comes Veritas. Abrantes. Look at the kick.
Wow.
Whoa, from Beatty and Jet.
Is that Pinto again?
No, Beatty here from Jet.
Oh, got you. Yeah, wow.
Guerra
These guys are just launching themselves out of the group.
That was an amazing launch, actually. That was really, really impressive. I want to take another look at that because
it's almost turbocharged, like they just load it all up and then explode.
You want to see how to
going
do
back
this.
into the group now, but they're actually smartly using that draft power up to just save the legs a little bit because that would sting huge. I mean, wow. Imagine the sound that his smart trainer made when that was all going on. Sound like it's being murdered.
I mean, watch the timing. Where is Beatty at this point even? We look through. Fisher's on the front. You don't
He's
even
not even
see
in
him.
the top 10.
No.
Yeah.
And then right there, 13 watts per kilogram. As he comes down
Watch
the ramp.
this, though. You want to see a guy it looks like someone stepped on a watermelon seed in the middle of that group. Look how he comes flying out here.
That looks
Haven't
like
quite
it's
seen
full
that
speed. This is
before.
33% speed. This is 100. He's doing 70 plus kilometers per hour through this downhill section. Garrick looks to try and come across. Unable to do so. Garrick settles.
Right around 12 watts at peak. And doesn't do any more than he needed to. Smart job. Well done.
Ladies just rounding out their 13 miles in. Again, apologies on that. That'll put them into 2 to go, if I'm not incorrect there. 2 to go.
Yes. No, I'm sorry. 3 to go. 3 to go.
3 to go. 3 to go out here today. As starting to see if we can start getting some preems and things coming on through in just a moment, everybody. We're waiting on
My
them
default
still.
is just agree with you. But no, it is definitely 3 to go. 26 and a half miles of racing today. 6 laps. Not a big group together here now. They've really whittled this down. That name that just popped up, Maud LaRue, we've talked about the South African. The young triathlete who's got a bike racing career ahead of her, I think if she wants to commit to that. Arthur, her teammate, Nathan, who you were correctly identifying as one of the stronger riders that we found in the league this year. So Cora Lee is another rider that has got premier qualities without any doubt. Zoe Langham, the other rider. This sort of looks like Roca Corba at their best to me, Nathan, as far as a team that just doesn't have a weak link.
Yeah,
Talking about Wahoo Lacole here.
Yeah, Wahoo Lacole with Mod. I mean, they've got their 3 powerhouses. That's kind of been the story here when it comes to West. Arthur Langham and Maud LaRue. It's going to be a really tough time to break that.
3's enough. 3 really strong riders can dominate or can win in this league. 2, not quite enough, in my opinion.
No, the question
even better to be like
mode.
Next.
I mean, Rose Beast Mode have also had 3 riders always in this lead looking to challenge that Wahoo Lacole team, and they've looked to do so, and every time they've kind of stuck their toes in the water, though, to try and challenge. Wahoo Nicole had a really good answer to what they were up to, but Rose Beast Mode's still in the conversation, obviously, here for this right now. I haven't seen the take down a sprint just
Good
yet.
point.
So
And yeah, I don't want to sell them short. This team is Cindy Friebel, Dana Wagner, who's been extremely strong this year, Eva Marie Dorer, Gabrielle Schumann, and Lisa Crum on this edition of Rose Beast Mode, who also have a team up in. This is the team of Julia Shalau, who's ridden the fastest lap in history out on this course. Another one of the riders that has really made her mark in ZRL Premier League was she and KK Kristen Kolchinsky were actively attacking that race throughout the duration. And it looks like we've got right now, good to see Socks for Watts up on the front. Always a team. We were talking about Jane Despis. Trying to identify who that is right there.
Mobs.
Putting them in the hurt box. Mobs in the house. Yeah, Rhea Mobs out of the United Kingdom.
Catherine Curry, I think the only Sisu rider that's made this front group. Ramsey got dropped off, it looks like. So Curry's going to have to really hold it down for Sisu.
So as an individual now, the team in fifth place, Catherine Curry is going to be awfully hard to beat. But it's a team sport. So Wahoo Nicole doesn't have to necessarily, I think pride and what being a bike racer is all about is winning races. So they're certainly not going to say, oh, well, let Curry have it. We'll fight for the second spot. They're definitely going to give it a go. But Catherine Curry, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time, the 2006 U.S. Road National Champion, 3-time ZRL Premier League winner, Director Sportif. So she's really got, I would guess that her IQ is in the top tier, without any doubt. She's a very bright human being on and off the bike.
Here comes the next sprint now as we head into the 15-mile marker, and it is going to be Langham here on the front. WLC.
It's actually top 3.
Domination.
Yeah.
Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Mobs trying to hold down. Beast Mode
lot
comes
of
on through.
points.
Look at Bates there. Lou Bates usually involved to be able to carry the No Pins R3R team, but I think the reality is today that it's such a sprinter's course and there isn't quite enough just make the race really difficult. Like she could make, here's the thing, Lou Bates could make the race really difficult, and actually because her and Curry are kind of like solo riders here, those two on the attack, maybe with this draft rider with Kelly, could make some moves against these others, but you know, they've got so much firepower in there, you're just going to really be burning matches you need for later if you want to try and take on Wahoo Nicole as well as Rose Beast Mode today. So, you know, Bates here, it's a tough spot for her to be in because the course, she would have to really take some big risks. And then there's these sprint points each and every lap that, I mean, she can maybe save up for the final sprint, I think, is what Bates need to be thinking about here today.
Agreed. As Catherine Curry, the same thing, right? What's the best thing you can do for your team right now? Well, get 50 points. You've got no teammates around to help. Curry's going to make this really hard. I think she just goes into Catherine Curry mode at this point. Now, I don't expect – so this is an interesting one. A lot of talent in this group, but I don't think everyone survives into the last lap. Or, excuse me, into the last K, I should say. This group won't be this large is my guess. I mean, Lemieux will still be there. Coralie, Arthur will still be there. I think Wagner, I expect to still be there, riding very strong for Rose Beast Mode. But Catherine Curry is going to do some damage, is my guess. She's not just going to roll in this group.
What do you think about the bike selection here, Dave? Interesting that we have so many Tron bikes. You know, that's something
I've
that
always
Kate mentioned this morning as well, that like the Tron bike is really popular today. I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting...
I have always... Well, isn't it considered by most to be the best all-around bike?
It has been kind of... It is a go-to for an all-arounder for sure. I don't know if it is the best all-around bike. I think there's another bike at this point that is more of a best all-arounder. I tend to be just a speed. Give me speed, give me speed, give me speed. So I'd almost always just go for the... S5 personally, but
I think also, Nathan, a big part of it is for these athletes, they don't dedicate as much of their brain power to that as some. And Tron is an easy default to make. You feel like you're not compromising if you're on that bike.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I think that is definitely something to do with it. There is like, and look at this Jet team. Jet are coming out of the woodwork today. They are not very high in the standings either. Like this is quite
a big step up.
Yeah, and
this is noteworthy.
This is such a great day for these teams that maybe struggled on the harder courses, and they're just showing up with some really great timings on these sprints. Well played by Jet so far. But on the Tron bike, something we said this morning is like I climbed 50K. I climbed 50K meters to get this bike.
Wow.
And that people are like,
use it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. It looks cool, and it's really fast. It's fast enough. And I earned this thing.
I don't feel like I'm at a competitive disadvantage.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the color. I'm going to taste the rainbow. We said this morning, and we're gonna get some color going here.
And I also think it might be easier too for some of the riders to just accept, like, hey, I'm pretty sure it's the fastest bike, and that's all I need to know. The amount of time, because you really can invest a lot of brain power into learning about what's the new wheel and what's going on with this, the new Cervelo that's been released. And it takes a lot to stay on top of it. And you have limited number of drops to spend. Not all of these riders, especially in the ZRL, are level 50s.
You have a limited number of drops? I thought they just... somehow I just have millions of drops. They just keep on showing up. I don't know what
Let me know where I could get those. Yeah. I'd love to get my hand on some of those. But I mean, yeah, well, when you look at it, just being in this group right now, you feel like you're at a very, very high level. Some of the best riders in esports are in this group, and there's something still to come as we're looking at about 9 miles of racing out here for the ladies. Pretty quickly, they'll be down to 2 to go here. I'm thinking to myself, is Coralie Arthur the fastest finisher in this group on paper?
Let's take a look here.
I'm just taking a look. She makes 13 watts per kilo. I think that answers yes, unless I'm scanning to see if anyone... Well, is Vanderplas for no pins still here? I don't think so. Don't believe so. So, yeah, Coralie Arthur, if you just go based on how they've booked the numbers up till now, is a mod is at 12. And as you said, Nathan, this sprint is a lot about race IQ or Zwiftcraft. As the ladies coming through, 2 laps to go now.
Yeah, and
Coralie
has not necessarily won straight up, though, when it comes to...
Just because you can make the power doesn't mean you're winning races. Not that she's not, but...
Man, that's some insane power, though. 8:06 for 15 seconds for her personal best there. 13
watts per kilo. I mean, there's a lot of guys in Premier League that can't make that, Nathan. That is a beast. Absolute monster.
Definitely
Scottish rider on Wahoo Lacole, Coralie Arthur, we're talking about. The rest of the team, Helen O'Neill from the United Kingdom, the South African who we've been applauding, Maud Elaine Leroux. The Polish or Austrian, I'm going to have to check, Sonia Cecile, and then United Kingdom, Zoe Langham. Sonia is from Poland. Well, rain is coming down cats and dogs out there.
It's actually been raining for a while here.
Raining a while, yeah.
Yeah, it's across. You know what's kind of cool is that was a part of one of the updates is that it rains at the same time now across all of Watopia. You're not going to have sunny on one. Like we used to have it in some of the broadcasts, the older broadcasts, where we would go.
It'd be sunny on one side of
it'd be
the
sunny
island.
no, it'd be like you'd be in the same place on the island actually on one race, and then go to another race, and it would be like
And it would be
totally
dry.
downpouring or whatever, you know, and it'd be like, what is going on here? So at least Watopia is consistent now. When it comes to
I hate to think about, like, for some poor engineer there, that was weeks and weeks of work, I'm sure, to make sure that the weather was always the same all over Watopia.
Across the network. Yeah. Well, it's probably just like
Right,
some sort of
late nights.
network, like some network switch, but they had to make sure that the switch was communicating across all of the client sides, which is interesting. But PTZ, a little bit of a move here. They've also a Portuguese team that's been looking to make their name known again. One of the older crews, 9 watts per kilogram. What is going on here? Abnick here from Slovenia. A little bit of a kick. Maybe he wanted Limos to be on his wheel and said, oh, not coming, okay. 191 beats per minute. Whew.
Wow. Boy, that's where most people would feel like they were having a heart attack.
I saw
at
almost like
191 beats per
198
minute.
the other day. I don't know what was going on, but
I
definitely.
wonder what Ashton Lambie's heartbeat is when he's finishing up winning the world championship. We should send a congratulations to him as well for that world championship ride. Not only the world record holder, but in the rainbow jersey now. That's as badass as it gets. A Zwifter of ours, which I feel makes things even cooler, knowing that he races with that next team and has been he's been a fun guy to have out participating with us in Zwift community. That's an understatement. It is a joy to have Ashton Lambie with us. That guy's a lifestyle.
Okay, so I didn't know this about Maud LaRue. I'm getting a lot of information actually.
That
coming
she's
on through here.
World-class triathlete?
She's got some serious achievements. I'm looking through here.
She's young. I'm going to say
yeah,
she's
and
22,
young.
23. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just getting a ton of information.
Typically,
She's 24
the
years
successful
old. 24 years old.
24, okay.
Yeah.
Typically, we see a little bit older athletes like Monali Kellers and Catherine Curie's in this discipline. It's not. It's not. Wouldn't say it's rare, but it's not that common to see a 23. Nadia Gantova comes to mind. So this is going to be Ria Mobs picking up another sprint for Socks for Watch. She's in fuego out here.
Yeah, good on them.
Good job, Ria.
They've been struggling lately in this division, so making a name for themselves again. Sox Watts staying involved. A little bit of off the back here.
I love to see it. Mobs going so hard on the front, putting some riders out the back. Binning them.
So
going back to our front group now. They're going to be coming up on a lap and a half to go. A little more than that.
Huh.
Again, we're in miles here with this group, but you'll see the others are still in kilometers.
Yeah, I'm not doing the conversion very well right now.
26.5 miles. So they've got 6.5 miles of racing remaining. Inside of 2 to go. 2 laps. Each lap at 7.3K. It is hard going back and forth for a non-genius type.
Yeah, I need to get my genius cap on. I don't know what's my problem here. I need to get with the program. Maybe I just need to set the
power-ups
podcast up
today.
right.
The standard power-ups.
Look at Jet again. Jet again, but this time they may
Beatty.
get caught out by Veritas. Veritas coming on through here. Maybe Beta trying to hold on, but Veritas is going to get him. But second still, Jet are just so impressive today.
So Nelson Pinto has been strong, but that was Nunes, excuse me. So Pinto and Nunes have been phenomenal on that Portuguese team, Veritas. One of one of the teams coming on strong. But Beatty has been super impressive, the jet rider here. And you see how, Nathan, he's more than understanding of what he's doing. He makes the effort, and then he sags back into the group, just trying to recover as much as he can here before they hit the cobbles. Again, these guys now are back in kilometers here. So they're a little further from the finish line than the women. 43K. Ooh. Oh, man. That was enough that he's not going to make it. That's what you call blowing a gasket out there.
He's done his job,
points.
Yeah, he's done his job on the day.
Yeah.
You know why?
No mas.
You know why?
No mas.
You know why? Look at this. This is Anna Russell full approval. Full approval, I would think. I mean,
I don't know if Anna's watching, but she would freak out.
I think maybe a 9 out of 10,
guy.
only because the bike color. But I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
She might ding him on the shoe covers.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, well, with the sock level, that weird low sock. I don't know.
Well, the no sock though, but she's a triathlete. She might be like, okay,
that's
you're not
true.
supposed to wear socks. She might just be mad at socks.
Sometimes
I think she has this inner thing about socks because she's a triathlete. Like they have this weird aversion
relationship with socks. Yeah, yeah.
Something to do with water. I don't know why there's so much water involved with biking
or something.
Yeah, I don't understand why we have wardrobe malfunctions during racing, but okay.
From what I know about all of my bike racing friends, I'm glad that we don't stop twice during a race and change equipment, because can you imagine how many guys would have forgot their shoes or their helmet or I'm
Chat,
sure triathletes do too.
I need Chat to get involved now at this point about the sock situation and what is happening with it.
Where are we at out there? We should do a poll on Zwift Community Live. But let's go back now as we splash back to the mod. Right on cue, the 24-year-old South African wonder.
Bates knows what to follow. Bates knows exactly what to follow. Look at her right on the wheel of those three. This might be a breakaway situation. Mobs knows too.
Jersey.
Look at Mobs. Curry too.
Well, Captain Curry is your biggest problem. She's a complete nightmare. That's going to be this is the selection I was talking about, Nathan. It has just happened in front of our eyes. It was initiated by Wahoo Lacole. Mod lights the fuse. And now we're going to answer this one. Who is the bomb? Look at the cryo rider coming back into the group here. Lou Bates right there. That Lou Bates jersey, no pins, R3R, pretty close in color to the Wahoo Lacole jersey, to tell you the truth.
Touch and go behind here. They've dropped everyone from Rose Beast Mode. Rose Beast Mode has no one left. Schumann trying to get back on terms. It's not going to happen. Crouch and Stevigo with Krogager.
Think about the points, though. Like with the team points total, how Wahoo Lacole is just crushing it out here. With this many top riders in this group, they are having a day. It's like you read about, actually. Wahoo Lacole, this in all the racing that we've covered throughout many zones today, this is the most dominant team performance that we've seen, Nathan.
Good on Krogager getting back on terms. 2 cryogen riders now in the front. Yeah, amazing job.
It's a name to remember, Krogager. She's been very impressive the last couple of weeks.
That Lou Bates move there, that it's almost like she's been waiting for that moment and then
gotta love Lou Bates. Lou Bates is awesome. I mean, really, one of those riders is so much fun to watch.
Always animating the races. Always super reliable for the team. And again, doing what she needs to do here for no pins R3R to grab some points on the day and keep them
involved. Have her outnumbered.
You know what is crazy about Lou Bates is they're in second place right now. I mean, and it's been like this every race where she's just totally isolated. You know,
One-woman wrecking crew. I mean,
seriously,
she's
what a wrecking
phenomenal.
Crew. Now, Beast Mode here.
Wahoo Lacole is on a perfect run. We've only seen this a few times, Nathan. A team just able to win week in, week out. And I mean, can you imagine how good they're going to be in the team time trial? So the next 2 weeks are going to be massive. We've got Tour of Towle, which is the hardest course that we're going to see throughout the season, I believe. And then the team time trial at greatest Greater London Flat, and that one, not every team is prepared for that. If you haven't been racing WTRLs on Thursdays, God be with you, as they say. You can all go wrong out there pretty quickly. We're back with Rose Beast Mode now, and Dana Wagner looking like she's just going to keep her nose down on the millstone, staying at work.
Attacks are going on here. Maud LaRue, Arthur Langham. They're just trying to make it difficult. They want,
absolutely relentless.
They want to get rid of Cryogen Stelvio. They want to get rid of Cryogen Stelvio. And here's the thing. They saw Rose Beast Mode coming back with Schumann. But Cryogen Stelvio, this was their moment. Because look at the standings. They needed to stay on terms and get rid of Beast Mode. Beast Mode coming back. What a move by Schumann here. And I mean, she's keeping in the conversation because that 69-68, Stelvio need to beat Beast Mode here to take over that third place overall on the podium.
Well, they say in the Wild Kingdom, Nathan, that animals don't kill for no reason. They only kill to eat. Well, Wahoo LaColes, they're not animals. They're beyond that. They're aliens. They kill just everybody everywhere. They are just absolutely destroying this race. They don't even need to crush Cryogen right now. Cryogen is almost 12 points back at this point, but they're continuing to pour it on. So let's see who we've got. Lou Bates is here. Catherine Curie is here. Most of the Wahoo LaCole team has made this move. Zoe Langham, Maud LaRue, Coralie Arthur. And who else, Nathan, is here? I feel like I'm missing, the Cryogen rider. I apologize. From Wales. Who is this going to be? Or is it Sienna Hayes who's made this group?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's
Sienna
amazing.
Hayes.
Good job, Sienna. Well, not amazing. Impressive is the word. Great job, Sienna. Quickly coming up on the last lap here.
Mobs continuing to
Wahoo backed off for a moment, Nathan. Look at that. Wahoo LaColes, after all the damage they did, they're going to sit on for a minute here. Take some inventory.
They've got a DS in their ear. They are one of the highest IQ teams out there. So this is no 3-2-2 moment, that's for sure. So
this is a fair fight, to tell you the truth. Catherine Curie, one of the most decorated athletes in esports history, going completely outnumbered.
Mobs with the front, just going with it. And not even waiting up and gets the gap immediately. She's got like 2 bike lengths. This is done.
10 points for Mobs. Scored 8, dude.
Mobs.
So they're going to give Mobs those points. Is that going to be
WLC just go
Bates?
1, 2, 3. Bates was involved a little bit there.
Sorry, Langham, Arthur, and then Bates.
And fourth there. LaRue's going to come on through now. Now my question is, LaRue going to try and break away for a solo? Just win it.
Yes.
Risk here.
Yes.
I mean, it wouldn't be.
I have a feeling she attacks on the climb. She's at least going to try to blow this thing up, but Captain Curie would be an awfully hard woman to drop. I would rather try to get a steak out of a pit bull's mouth than try to drop Catherine Curie on this climb, because Curie is purpose built for this. This is what she does.
So we have some answers to our question here. Satori's letting us know that beards aren't arrow, which I'm not sure how that relates to the socks, but I appreciate the Satori.
No, that's good input, though.
Yeah, people with self-respect only wear ankle socks. Andrew Parkins is letting us know. While wearing shorts, that is. Thank you, Andrew. Yep. In Zwift, though, you'd want max sock surface, so to make a fashion and or level statement. Satori is letting us know. Now, over on Twitch, though, we have a different opinion, it looks like, coming in from Round Night. Let us know that no socks is acceptable. Okay. I don't know there, buddy.
To you.
Yeah, I mean...
Others have a different set of standards, I think, that we operate on.
That's just automatic timeout.
This is going to get personal, don't you think? Don't you feel like this is going to get personal?
Make it personal. We're about to make it personal.
For you, right? Like... feel like a Seinfeld episode or something is about.
Well, let's
to
see.
Out
What is the Peloton doing here? I mean, what's up with Hayes? Hayes has got no socks.
Yep, but what does Lou Bates do? That's what I base my. Or Maud. Ooh. What does Maud do? Maud's a hip kid.
Here we go, Bates. Look, this is actually a really good fashion statement here, I think, coming in from the No Pins R3R. She's got I would call it the Wicked Witch of the West socks going on here, right? Isn't that the color
She's
that they had,
cool.
right? In Wizard of
I
Oz? And it matches. You can't really see it because there's so
thought
much
they were
pink.
stripes. I thought it was like black and white stripes that the
Well,
witch
it's
had that got
striped,
crushed
though.
by
It
the
is
house.
striped a little bit there. Maybe they were black and white, though. And I like
It looks like
the
most of the
shoe
athletes
color.
are going for the sock style that I would choose, to tell you the truth.
Mobs actually
Again,
has the ones I think that are the ones I was thinking of, that are kind of that.
the Wicked Witch ones.
Yeah, yeah. Now I don't know if I should be calling them Wicked Witches, though. It's probably.
I don't know that we should either. Yeah.
I was just comparing fashion style. I'm not calling anybody.
That went south on us for sure. Rhea Mobs, we did not mean that. You look great. And Socks for Watch is known for their socks.
Round Knight has admitted to being a triathlete. Now that's definitely permaban. I mean, just goodbye. And Satori's letting us know, well put, Curry, saying that Curry is not somebody that you want to really mess with in this final.
Play around
Let's
with.
see, Maud versus Curry versus Lou Bates.
As good
Maybe
as
the
Waffle
conversation
is.
here.
Yeah, they're a great team, and they're obviously the team that's going to win the day at this point. But Catherine Curie is a GOAT, one of the greatest of all time, and she knows how to do this. She's never out of her element. And, she doesn't like losing a handshake, let alone a bike race. She's competitive.
The men and the women.
A couple riders still
finishing
fighting
up
to
here
try to come
pretty
back
quick.
on terms here, Nathan.
Yeah, that was.
See,
It's 9 seconds back, and this is important points. And if there's anybody ahead in this front group that's
is that Dana
struggling,
Wagner? I think that's Rose Beast Mode right back there, but I might be wrong. No, I'm completely wrong. It's Cryo
yeah, Kraugen and Schumann from Rose Beast Mode.
and Schumann.
I'm not
Yep.
sure anyone
All
here
right,
is going
here
to be
we go.
struggling too much, though.
So-
I mean, this front group's pretty strong. Bates here on the attack, actually leading this out. I was not expecting this from Bates. Bates, who does she want to get rid of? I thought she was going to follow Wheels here.
Carey.
5'9".
These are lapped riders that they're coming by now. Lou Bates is just really showing us, as I said, she's all heart. Absolutely. So Lou Bates will not acquiesce, but coming up and over the top, it looks like we've got an assault now from Wahoo LaCole, Maud LaRue, and company. It's all staying together, though. These women are just too tough, too much depth in this group. Catherine Curie is like Muhammad Ali rope-a-doping this group right now. She's, give me what you got. Throw it at me, because Catherine Curie is ready to hit out with authority now. All right. Well, you got to soften her up a little more than that. Catherine Curie is just about to launch.
Maud LaRue sitting in. Actually, no. 4.4 watts per kilogram.
Maud
Coming
is
from the South
biggest
African.
battle of Maud's career, esports-wise, right now, going up against Curie. This is a definitive moment in her young career.
Has Mobs
Coralie
made this
Arthur's
group?
looking to get a
Mobs
sprint.
is still here, and she has won almost
She can
every
kick.
sprint.
She can kick.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I don't even know who to call here. I mean,
Arthur
this is so
and Mobs,
close.
if this stays together. Arthur and Mobs, if this stays together, Nathan.
Yeah, Arthur. Maud LaRue also has a solid 12. You know, if they time it right, though, Curry's got 10 still. You know, it is. It'll be
Let's see what
interesting to
Wahoo
see here at the
LaCole's
end.
got for us now. Yeah, let's see how they're going to play their cards. Wahoo LaCole is an experienced team. They're tactically astute. They've got the horsepower. It's a fun game to play in this situation. Now, this is it, folks. We are locked and loaded. This is not a drill. Big-time bike racing doesn't get any better than this. This will be an epic, epic finish. It looks like it's going to be Rhea Mobs to the front.
Woo! Arthur
Now, Wahoo.
Coralie, 15 watts per kilogram with the open up. It's got an arrow power up. Will she hold? Here comes Mobs. She's going to hold, though. And it's going to be actually her teammate
Beautiful.
Langham, followed up by Mobs. Whew,
With
right
Maud
to the
LaRue
line.
right there. That was a command. So they beat some of the best with Lou Bates and Catherine Curie in that group, Rhea Mobs as well. That's a phenomenal job and a step forward for Coralie Arthur and the Wahoo LaCole team. Significant benchmark moment. Let's take a look at the sprint again as she goes plaid.
Yeah, so they opened up exactly where they needed to. This was the section. A lot of times, you know, depending on the speed that you come in with, right here, this could be the moment to go in a larger group right there. But in a smaller group, you can kind of wait to the halfway point. Look at the kick there, though, coming from Arthur. We saw it up into 15 for a moment. She gets the jump and the arrow power up. The speed's up to 39 miles per hour there, as you can see. and it just kind of walks away from this one. It's really just a race for second place at this point. And as they come to the line, WLC, Mobs, after all of those sprint points too, really makes it a good day still for Socks for Watts. Lou Bates.
Look at that. She's making 15 when she came across the line, Rhea Mobs there. These are some powerful athletes.
Too late. That was way too late. I think she waited just a little too long here then.
We talked about timing and just how tough it is. Wahoo Lakol, 4 or 3 riders in the top 4, a dominant performance. Make it 5 for 5 now for them. They'll go to 100 points on the table. Perfect run halfway through the ZRL season.
Bronte's
back
doing
in
what
with the
Bronte's
guys.
Does 36K in. We've got less than a lap to go. We're on the bell here.
Yeah, this wraps up at 43K, so we are back into metric here now. And one of the challenging sectors, you really do, when you're working your way through these, you always feel like you never know. They're coming at you left, right, and center. Positioning is critical. This is our men's final now, as they are inside the last lap. And this is one of the sectors where riders are going to be able to try to make a difference out here. Start running out of real estate very quickly. It's it's not going to be much more than 52 minutes of racing out here.
At the front of the race, there's going to be PTZ Hartman there as well, coming on through. This is a large group, actually. This is a little bit bigger situation.
It started huge, didn't it? I mean, it is a large group. I completely agree. It was a big group to start with, but I'm surprised, Nathan, to see this many riders left. It's been such an aggressive course to race on here. Riders doing exactly this.
Be interested to see who's been taking the points down here. We're waiting on some of the stuff to come through still here, but I mean, Jet have been just really, really impressive to me today. And at the end of the day, my prediction is Jet may be going to be the breakthrough ride of the day. SGAB now setting up, it looks like. Hartman on the wheel as well. They're going to be in this blue kit. The WEZ uses as well. There's Jet again. Look at this kick. The perfect timing coming in, and it's going to be 2 of the riders. Iwabachi here, 12 watts per kilogram, as well as Inamine coming out of Japan. They may hold on to this one. She'd be trying to come through. I'm not sure they're going to do it, and they go 1-2. And they also jump into the 5th place spot as well. I think that Jet are showing up and saying, no, the second half of the season, we are involved. Loving to see this from the Japanese. Dave, I think you're on mute there, Dave. Thank you.
This is the second Zwift team out of Japan that's really stood out, Nathan, as the Zwift Warriors in Premier. They're fun.
Good point. Yeah. Good point.
And this is now, I think they're starting to get some traction with esports racing in Japan, and I love it. As a matter of fact,
Japan, see something blow up. You want to see an esport blow up? Head to Japan. Yeah, watch out. Next thing you know, they will be NFL level in that country, like if it blows up like that, you know.
And I would say, wouldn't you? But you tell me if I'm wrong. Korea, don't they have the same kind of vibe there? Where
yeah,
if
especially
they
with Overwatch. Overwatch was like, and may still be. I'm not positive right now at this moment. I haven't been watching the Overwatch scene a whole lot lately, but early on days of Overwatch, they were all stars. They were huge in Korea, as well as I think Japan too. So. Definitely,
it's not all Squid Game.
No, definitely the Eastern countries have a much more hype and huge amounts of respect for the esports scene. So,
how has Jet been doing this season? Where are they at this season, Nathan? I apologize for not being aware of that, but I have a feeling that they're clearly on their way up right now.
Why here off the front? I'll get the information for you here in just a moment, because I can just go directly to the website.
Yeah, I'm really curious. They're just over 3K to go. It all happens now, as this is EY here, and opening up a little bit of a gap. I think
This
he's
is the
doing
way
his
to do it.
teammates a big.
This is the way to
he's
do it.
doing a
I think he
big
watched
turn for his team.
He watched this morning, and this almost worked for Mark O'Brien actually in the APAC men's A. So this may, if he needs 7 seconds though, he's only got 2 at this point. This needs to continue to go out, and CLS is not interested in letting this go. They shut it right on down. If this wasn't shut down, but there's some motivated teams behind.
The good thing is his team is getting a break because the other teams are having it. They're not even really, no one is that worried right now. But I like Jet's chances after what we saw in that last bonus sprint there. They seem to be loaded for bear today. 2.5K to go. The 5th of 10 races that make up the community season. This one, I have a feeling is going to be a favorite for a lot of riders. A course like this gives everybody a chance to get involved. So good to see these Japanese flags.
Looking to see if we can find the information here on Jet, because I am really, really interested as well as to like what exactly is
I have a feeling, Nathan, in the next year we're going to learn a lot. I really hope so. Keep up the pressure, guys. Now, this is no fun unless you're at the front, because they are really hammering now.
This is no fun.
I always have it from such a weird position.
Well, this is no fun. These guys aren't having any fun at all.
I'm coming from the sprinter's perspective, Nathan.
These guys are, oh my God.
It's been a long day.
I just have this picture of somebody just being like,
someone in the back of the group yelling that. Well, what do you hear in the races with the Italian
just throwing
guys
their
would be
hands
yelling,
in the air, be like, "Well, this is no fun." We're just throwing it in the towel.
One of my favorite things about Italian racers in road racing is when you hear them in the early part of the race yelling. Once the first attack goes, Nathan, you'll hear them yelling, "Piano, piano," which means slow down, slow down. And they are adamant about too fast. Let's take it easy for a while. Well, that's not the case here. Veritas and Magalhães on the attack. The Portuguese are absolutely killing it. Nathan, we're down to 1
There's a
K
split.
to go.
There's a split. This is happening. Jet are set up perfectly. We've got 3 riders from Jet at least here at this point. And EY is still involved here. What's going to happen?
So
Team CLS are here, though. Veritas is still involved as well. We've got SGAB. But Jet have been on it.
No one else comes back. Yeah, I don't think anyone else is going to be able to rejoin. It's a pretty small group that's going to the line now. They separate the wheat from the chaff. We're going to make our way around this sweeper and get ready to enter the launch code because, gentlemen, here we go. We're going to find out who wants it more, and the sprint is engaged. We are now into the final 200 meters, and it looks like, dear man, it's going to be Nunes picking up some bonus sprints, and Portugal and Veritas winning with Nunes here. That one is
just did 20 watts per kilogram for a moment.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Italians, that's like Mario Cipollini. 20 watts per kilo.
I mean, I've got to watch that back. That's
incredible. That's out of this world.
I mean,
let's take another look.
Here we go. McLaren, we're watching for the watts per kilogram kicks, and then all of a sudden,
so it's
bam!
So they really made a selection here.
There goes the 20 though here from Nunes. Now it drops to 15, 1,000 watts. I think Nunes is just super light rider that's got a huge kick. Because you look at the watts, they're not over 1,000 for too long.
And he only weighs 8 kilos. So right, yeah.
I mean, he hits 1,200 watts. You could have you do have really short.
No, this is impressive.
You have shorter, riders who, just quad maniacs.
Quadzillas.
yeah, quadzillas, and they are able to just throw down huge watts, really, really, and so 187 beats per minute just kind of walks away from everybody.
That's impressive. timed it perfectly too, made the selection, which was critical. So positioning really did matter in the last 2K of that race. If you got caught out more than 20 riders back, you weren't able to rejoin for the sprint. So you really had to have your wits about you in that finale, and clearly he did. That was a command performance. What a great run of races we've had over the last 4 hours here, Nathan.
4 hours.
3 hours. That
Oh,
it's a run,
goodness.
man.
You added
Working
an
our way
extra
around the
hour
globe,
to
but-
it. You added.
Well, a Colorado
I'm just
time.
messing with you. I'm
Because of the
messing
altitude,
with
right?
you. Yeah. It's the altitude. Blame the altitude.
Yeah,
Blame
the altitude for sure.
That's like that was the
great.
comment. That was actually the comment in earlier in Dave, you broke Nathan Sweet the set. You did for a moment there. You definitely. I couldn't even talk. Well, this is no fun. This is just no fun. I just almost ended the broadcast. We were having so little fun.
You're great to work with. These are days like today. It's such a joy to be involved in esports. I mean, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than this. That's for sure. And Nathan, your passion for what you do shows every single day. And to all our racers, thanks for the show. Holy cow. I mean, we're not done. I know we've got more racing coming up later today.
I'm jealous a little bit. Like, why didn't I race
Me
it?
too.
I gotta talk to Martin and be like, how do I get in on this? Like, I need to be racing, doing some ZRL for sure.
I know you somehow you cracked the code on doing WTRLs on Thursdays, which we have to look forward to this week as well.
Well, I think we'll see. I mean, I think Anna is
It's a little less corporate.
Anna's producing Australian cycling this weekend for us, actually. So, and that'll be on ZCL. So, as well as over on Australian cycling. So, maybe Anna, maybe I can race America's East. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe America's East, maybe America's West. We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
I can feel the wheels turning.
I want to race so bad. Because I watch this and I'm like, here, and part of it, Dave, is like we sit here and talk about what we think might happen or might not happen. I'm like, I'm just going to show you. I mean, I'm like, you wanted me to show you how this works? Here, I'll just go do it. No, there's part of that, and then there's a part of me that's like a little bit, the competitive is like, well, what could I do here?
I love
it. Debbie in Shape, good to see you over at Twitch. Everybody, if you haven't checked it out, something I definitely want to promote here is that she has started this really great ride. I believe it's a women's only ride. I want to double check, Debbie. I'm not positive about that. Maybe it's not though, but you can join her for rides up the Alp every Saturday morning. It's pretty early though time here for anybody.
She's in
The
Belgium.
US. She's in Belgium. It is a ladies only ride. Make sure to get a hold of Debbie. She's promoting it over on Twitch. We did retweet it on ZCL, so you can find her not on Twitch. On Twitch and Twitter, we retweeted it. So if you want to go check that out, make sure it's 9 a.m. UTC that she's doing a ride up the Alp every single Saturday. If you're looking for your Tron bike, you're looking for your Masochist achievement, you're looking for your Mellenstein wheels, what a great way to do it, ladies. Jump out with Debbie in Shape. She's absolutely awesome. Really encouraging. It's not a competitive group either. I jumped in on her stream for a minute and was noticing everybody kind of rides their own pace and they're there for an encouragement of each other. So that was really cool to see. Yeah, super awesome energy. Let's go ahead and jump into some results here. We do have them here for the women's side of things. It looks like it is going to be Corley Arthur at the top. They're from Wahoo Loco. Zoe Langham followed by Catherine Curry for third. Maud LaRue settles for fourth there, but Wahoo Loco with some domination. Rhea Mobbs there coming in from Sox for Watts. Lou Bates holds down for sixth place there for No Pins R3R. Sienna Hayes, Maria Louise Hartz, and Joe Munden, all for Cryogen Stelvio. Oh, I thought maybe today that Cryogen was going to be able to raise themselves up the bar here, but maybe they'll get better at beast mode because they were close. Yeah, they were definitely close. It wasn't too bad.
Look at it's not for a lack of power. So they'll get this figured out, but you can see like Sienna Hayes is a beast out there. So good luck to our friends at Cryogen. I want to jump in with the EMEA West Division 1 Women's Bees, and it was Marjolein de Vlieger of the herd of Little Penguins taking the win. Malin Bengtsson taking second, the Swede, and out of United Kingdom, Catherine Widgway. In third, it was Caroline Strasser for fourth, Lara Newell for fifth, Maria Nyberg sixth, Carolyn Pfalzgraf for seventh, Lauren McKay eighth, Helen Mee in ninth, and Sarah Fader rounding out your top 10.
There's a great comment coming through. Duncan, you're awesome. Appreciate you letting us know. I want to see Dave. No, he wants to see you race and just say this is no fun halfway through the race. Anna Robinson, Rakainian at the top there for Eno Chica Locas. It's going to be Janine Schumann there coming through for ZRG. Kelly Chernell.
That'll be a meme. You know that'll be a meme now, right?
Hotter than hell. Yeah, the TTT posters. There's going to be some fun memes coming on through. You know it. Anais Cotton come on through for fourth place for her to get to Penguins. Chelsea Williams for her to get to Penguins in for fifth. Bella Vilo is in sixth with Julia Snaith and Jen Buckley in seventh, also for Bella Vilo. Julia Volkman, Crush Pod Verdandi in eighth. It's going to be Carmen Krebs for ZRG in ninth, and Justine Walsh for Crush Pod Verdandi. That is going to be the women's EMEA West Div 1 Women's C results. A little bit 33-41. I think they did 2 less laps. Is that right, Dave? I'm pretty sure 2 less laps.
Yeah, correct. And now we've got the D's. Same story. Caroline Hirsch of the Raven Loonies. Gotta love that name. Taking the win. Now the United Kingdom, Sam Denny for second for herd of Emperor Penguins. Hege Hermo of the Vikings Freya team in third, Heidi Lehman of Aeonian Divas for fourth, Claire Greensides of Evo Roses. She'll end up in fifth. Then we've got Gwen Gordon of another Raven Loonies rider in sixth. It's Reike Weiss of herd of Yellow-Eyed Penguins. That's new to me. And in seventh, Leslie Unwin Scott for Raven Loonies. So they got 3 in the top 10 today. Way to go, Raven Loonies. She was in eighth for Leslie. Stephanie White in ninth for the herd of Emperor Penguins. A lot of penguins today, Nathan. Gotta love that. And it was Lou Gower for Satonia CCWD, rounding out our top 10 for the D women. Always a spirited group out there racing. Love you, ladies.
There is actually something called the Monster Raving Loony. It's actually a thing.
Is it a bird? I think it's a bird. Well, a loony is a kind of duck.
No, it's a
party.
It's a
duck from Canada.
It's actually a party. It's a political party.
I think it's based on, so they have the coin in Canada they call the
political.
We'll have to do some research for you here.
Yeah, over on Wikipedia, the official Monster Raving Loony Party is a political party established in the United Kingdom in 1983 by David Such. Just so you know. But I'm not sure Raven Loony. That's actually a thing.
So a loony
they have a
is
logo
also
and everything. They have a logo and everything.
Coin.
I'm actually gonna they literally have a logo. I'm gonna show this on Scroll Down. It's all right, Pedro Nunez comes through. He had 20 watts per kilogram to show, half a second over top of Tom Gerke. Their SG Atletico Bodelsdorf. That's a fun name. Rue Miguel Abrantes for Veritas there, and coming through for third place. Veritas killing it out there. They're followed up by Taishu Iwa there for Jet Racing team. Jet Racing, I thought they were going to hold down today and maybe take this down, but not able to do so in the final. They
the finale
may, though, when it came to the points, though.
Yeah, the finale didn't quite go their way, but they certainly were competitive and in the mix. So Nathan, loonies is one of those words that has many meanings. It's the $1 coin. It also can refer to someone who's considered crazy or fun-loving. So, yeah, very, very interesting as we take a look at Pedro Nunes there of the Veritas team on top of the table. That's a big win. And a 54.04 to get that done. It's Tom Gerke, the German rider for Atletico, taking the silver, and Rui Miguel Abrantes. So Veritas gets 2 riders up in the top 3 today. Speaking of jet racing, it was Taishu Iwai taking 4th, Patrick Orick of R3R in 5th, Naofumi Nozaki in 6th for another Japanese rider, but this time riding for the AHDR. That's Australian Hump Day Ride Cape Crusaders. And another Cape Crusader, Josh McClellan, for 7th today out of Australia. David Fisher, the American, for Team CLS Pure Quality in 8th. Takashi Inami in 9th for Jet Racing. And then Veritas, their third rider in the top 10 is Luis Megales.
And in for the EMEA West Div 1 mixed men's B, it's going to be Morten Valdren there for the ZZR Road Rascals. Lee Wild there for Provision Racing in 2nd place. Raul Christian in for Dirty Beasts Alligators there. Dan Oshia there for R3R Run DMC in for 4th. Dan Poynton there for Dirty Beast Alligators there in 5th. It's going to be Daniel Wells there for HDR Cheesecake Bombers in 6th. Simon Bradley jumping in. Good to see Cy out there for Provision Racing. Nice job there in 7th place. Make sure to go check out Cy Bradley over on YouTube. He's been putting together some pretty awesome course recons and lots of information all around. You might see Cy around here shortly with some of his awesome insights there. Matt Sook there for Innovation Aliens there in 8th place there, followed up by Lasse Axelson there for DZR Road Rascals, and then James Road for Innovation Aliens there in for 10th.
Let's take a look now at our men's C's as Awkward Silhouette TV of the RR Woolly Rhinos team taking the win. Toon Belmakers, Belgian rider, in 2nd for the Woolly Rhinos. They sweep the top 3 today as Andrew Ellis is your bronze medal winner. At Team ElectricSpirit.co, Vesper, Jimmy Turner out of Scotland. Love that team. Good job, Jimmy. 4th today. Jordan Noble in 5th for Rafa RCC Men's C1. And then you can see the Cronley CC BABS rider Anthony Douglas taking 6th today. Also out of the United Kingdom, David Makusik, the American, Herd of Jackals rider in 7th. Adrian Benusiglio is going to be 8th place today in the C's for RR Woolly Rhinos. That's their 4th rider up in the top 10. Alan Duncan from Scotland and Team ElectricSpirit.co in 9th. And then Simon Rowley out of the United Kingdom, SDW Skeeters rider, rounds out your C's top 10. Good racing, guys.
And last but not least at all, it's going to be the D competition here for this EMEA Div 1. In the West for men's, it's going to be David Viervers there for TFC Wolverines, Carlos Martinez for SDW Vespa, followed up by Claire Howard in SDW Vespa, and then Christopher Reed for FCCC Delta Blues in for 4th, Alistair Brown for Herd of One Trick Ponies in 5th, Alex Bush, PWCCD in 6th place there. 7th place goes to Michael Falder in TFC Wolverine, and then Sebastian St. John for SDW Vespa in 8th. John Starkey for RR Dangerous Rhinos, and Gerard Holbriggs for the TFC Wolverines. That's your D category, and that's going to be it. If you're looking for more results, I know it's a fast broadcast. We hit back to back to back to back, and so we don't catch all of the results here on screen, but you can obviously head on over to WTRL.racing to check out all the standings. They do update really quickly, so you can probably see exactly where all the teams stand right now. We'll be back for America's West in a little under 4 hours. It'll be myself and Dave, and then later tonight, it's going to be Kate Bates and Dave Towle on for... Wait, did I say that wrong? I'll be back for America's East. America's West will be Dave Towle and Kate Bates, obviously, for the West, and there's a lot of awesome competition actually happening in both of those divisions, actually. Looking forward to how the situation with Egoat Riot and those crowds there in the East are going to take this on, because the Going Plaid's going to be,
it's always fun.
A whole nother level, Dave.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely looking forward to seeing you back here in 4 hours, Nathan. Thank you, everybody, for a great day of racing.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Right on, everybody.